Hey guys, welcome to the first Cultured Boys discussion. I'm Pepe and I'm joined by Nathan to discuss our top 5 gaming franchises of all time.
We should probably explain to anyone who decides to find our show, good or bad, welcome all again. We're not entirely sure what this show is, but we're just two guys who want to chat, and we chat a lot about being cultured. we like video games, we like anime, we like manga, we just kind of want to talk. And if you're down for that, thanks for listening, and maybe give us a like, a subscribe, or maybe don't. Either way, we're not bothered, I guess. That out of the way, let's jump into it. Top 5 gaming franchises. First of all, I may have cheated a little bit.
Okay.
I don't exactly. I've got 5, right? But one of them is sort of interchangeable because I wanted to have something from a specific genre, and I really, really, really wanted to include something from it. But I've got several games under that genre that I really like. So I couldn't really pick like one. So I guess on my list I have that as number 4. I don't actually have this properly thought out. I really like these franchises, but I guess the order can change a little bit. So I guess I'll just start with this caveat, I guess.
Yeah. That's fair. Like, there's no like particular rules to it, really. We're just talking about what like we like best. Like, let's just go crazy.
So for, I guess, number 5.
Yeah. Let's go number 5.
Is a racing franchise for me. Like, I love racing games, you know this, but it was really hard to pick like the one franchise because they all do different things, but I all like them. Like, I like them all the same. It's really hard because like originally I just put Need for Speed because I've played that a lot, especially the latest one, Need for Speed Heat. I played a lot. Need for Speed is a franchise I've played a lot of over the years, but it's like a real casual game, like that's why I get all like I have fun because it's like street racing.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, for racing games, I really like the Forza Horizon franchise.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one. I love Forza.
Exactly, like, and I'm not even talking normal motorsport. Like, Horizon itself is what I wait for every time. Like, when they ever since the first one, I've been down. I've bought every single one. But this is what also makes it hard. Here's the kicker, yeah? There's actually a third one for this slot, and it's Outrun. And it's a dead franchise.
Ooh, okay.
But it's, we get into this, and we're probably going to get into it again, right? But Outrun. I would be remiss, right? I would really be dropping the ball if I was talking about racing franchises I really like and I didn't say Outrun. Now you understand my problem. They all do different things, and yet I can't pick one.
You can't pick one. Okay. Here's one for you, Nathan. It's quite interesting you've said Outrun for your number 5, because it is my number 5 as well.
Oh, come on. Okay. Here we go.
So like Outrun, like I had the same dilemma as you. I haven't really played as many Need for Speed games as you. I've only played
right.
The latest one was, I can't even remember the name of it. That's how much of a Need for Speed fan I am. I can't remember what game I played.
I mentioned it a couple minutes ago. That's fine. That's fine.
It's
Don't listen to me, whatever.
Hold on, let me think.
Heat. I just said it again.
Heat.
Heat. Yeah, Need for Speed Heat. I even gave you the answer as I was lampooning you.
I'm still
about
trying to
the
think
answer.
of it. I'm still trying to. Nah, Heat. Okay, cool. So the only Need for Speed. Need for Speed. The only Need
You're
for Speed
coming up with new
game
racing franchise.
But no. As I said, I haven't really played many Need for Speed games. And if anything, in terms of racing games, I've only really played a handful, like Project Cars I've played. Yeah, I know. That game I just couldn't get on board with. So
I think I played the first and second one because they were like free on something. I think the first one I played on Xbox One, because it was like the games for gold, like the free game at one point. I did not enjoy that.
I just couldn't get into it. But yeah, like in terms of racing games, like, I haven't played that many, but Outrun has stood out the most to me, just because of all like everything about it, like the aesthetics of it, like the music. I know for a fact that you and me both absolutely adore the music in Outrun.
Oh mate, I love a bit of Splash Wave. Don't even.
Splash. See, like Splash Wave is like one of my favorites, but what? Okay, like, here's my favorite though. It's Night Flight.
Oh, okay.
Like it's a weird like I think Splash Wave is the iconic one. That's the one that everyone goes to. It's your default one.
That's the default song, and honestly, I will die listening to that song. I've almost been in trouble so many times in real life from having that song on in the car.
Yeah, I've been in the car, if you know. I've been there when Splash Wave.
I forget, mate. I forget. Like, especially if you're playing that Splash Wave Euro mix, like the one they have from Outrun 2. Oh my god! Like,
I don't think I've actually heard that one.
I'm not even sure if it's. I don't even remember if it's actually 2 or if it's from Outrun 2006 Coast to Coast. But there's like a Euro mix. I guess it's supposed to be almost like a Eurobeat-ish remix. But that one, dude, I think one time it came on in the car and I genuinely forgot whatever speed limit it was. I was probably going like twice as fast as I was supposed to.
When are we talking like Euro mixes here? Are we like saying like initial D kind of like Euro mixes?
Again, it's still Splash Wave, right? But in the game they just call it Euro mix. And it's a little it's got more, I guess it is supposed to sort of be almost Eurobeat-ish, because there is more like beats per minute or whatever. Like, it's faster and it's just more Splash Wave. Like, why would I not like that?
Yeah. But I think like the thing is with Outrun is I never actually played it that much until maybe about 10 years ago, when we just I think it was me, you, and a couple other guys. We decided to go to arcade in London.
Oh mate!
And like I think that's where my love for Outrun stemmed from, because in the arcade I just jumped into this machine and I was like, bloody hell, this game is fantastic. Like I think it was heart attack mode, you know, where you have to like do like all the drifts and whatever, like avoid the cars and like impress the girl.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, damn, this is good. Like, obviously you have to pay a quid every time you want to play as well. Pretty sure like I spent £5.
If you're lucky and you've got enough people and the machines are free and you've got that 4-player connect as well, like 4-player Outrun is
Mate, I can like get on board with that. That sounds so good.
Or if you've got a pristine machine, because Outrun machines get destroyed. They get wrecked. Like, do you remember that one time we went to an arcade and we were playing it? There was only 2 of them, but the brakes were stuck on one of the machines. So we would just, like, one person would lose constantly just because they couldn't go as fast as the other person. And I think one time I played a machine where the steering wheel was kind of busted. So you would have to go to full lock just to do any random turn. Like, and that was for any turn. There was no degrees of turn. You just had to turn.
Just had to keep going.
It's like playing a racing game on PC where you've just got the keyboard and there's no like analog system. You know, like you can't lightly push the button and it's like, oh, I'll turn, I'll bear to the left. It's just like, not left. Smash into a wall.
I think it's worse like when the brake ain't working as well, because like, the thing is about Outrun is that what makes it so good is when you get that drift on, like when you get that perfect
but you
drift.
can't, because the brake is fucked.
If you can't hit the brake, then like, it's the whole drift system has gone out. That's gone, man.
Yeah.
The main point of the game where you get those perfect drifts is just like you might as well just give up. You might as well, like, you go get to like the third stage, and you might as well just be like, okay, cool, I'm done.
That's if you can get to the 3rd stage.
Yeah, it depends if you go for the easy route.
Yeah, true. And I guess it depends on the person you're playing with. Like, because if they're good, they can drag your ass all the way through. You know, like, you might struggle, but they could probably get most of the way through. I think we were pretty decent. So, like, our group of friends and us, when we were playing on that machine with the stuck brakes. I think we did manage to finish many a time. It's just literally the other person with the working machine had to had to carry us the whole way, essentially.
Oh man, it's good times, man. And what you mentioned before, the fact that it's a dead franchise, is the thing that makes me like the saddest about this. Is like both of us absolutely love this game, and it's more than likely that we will never see another version of it again.
It's probably because it's an arcade title. So as far as Sega's concerned, there's almost it probably doesn't seem like it's got enough evolution. Also because it uses Ferrari's license, like I don't think Sega can afford that anymore.
No.
Which is sad because, you know, Sega also own Atlas, so, and that's the Persona franchise, and that will come up later. But don't you dare mess up Sega. I need more Persona in my life, okay? But again, I'm completely with you on that. I wish there was more Outrun. There's loads of like indie games that have come out that sort of try to fill that space, but they all try to do things like their own way.
Yeah. Guess they want to add like a spin to it. So
what was it? There was one that came out last year, and it made quite a big splash. Like everybody was on it because it also had that like retro game look. Like it was really polygonal. It almost looked like PS1 graphics, but it was obviously like higher res, but it still was sort of polygonal and stuff. And it had that Outrun feel, except the point was to win the race. So it wasn't like you were driving through a whole bunch of settings and there was like A, B, C, D, and you know, you got to an ending and you tried to drift and do your best until you got to the end. It was literally like, it sort of had Outrun vibes, but it was a proper racing game. And then there was other ones that came out that's tried to do the whole like, here is a single stage and you try to drift and do whatever you can at the corners. Again, it's like these games came out and they had Outrun vibes, but nobody's really done Outrun. Like, it's not Outrun the way that we know it. You know, you start at the beginning and you work your way through and you've got different stages. It forks, you know. You've got the easy stage, the hard stage. You can get to what? It's something like, what, 8 endings or something? 8 different ending stages or something like that.
Is it 5? I can't remember which one it is. Is Outrun 2... There's 2 versions of it, am I correct?
Yeah, because there's Outrun 2 and then there's 2 SP.
Yeah, and I remember I had the PSP version of that. And there was a mode where you can actually...
2006 Coast to Coast was the last Outrun we ever had.
Yeah, God.
And I still have my PS2 copy, and there are so many days I want to plug my PS2 in and play that for no reason besides I want it. I just want to... I mean, I think the actual last one we ever had was the Xbox Live Arcade Outrun Online, which we played a lot of, like, together and with our friends. Like, I think we went months playing that, just all the time. Just all the time.
It's just like a free, like, it's one of those ones where you just be like, hey, we've got nothing else to do. You just want to chat and play Outrun. And it would just be there. And it was just like, it was good, man. It was good times.
Exactly. And now all I've got are memories and the soundtrack, of which I can't listen to anymore because it just gets depressing. Because I remember I can't play more Outrun.
I mean, weirdly enough, the latest Outrun that we have had is the original one that they brought back.
Oh yeah, but that's not the same.
It really doesn't feel the same.
That's not the same. Original Outrun, I feel like it depends on when you first played it, because like I feel like each generation is defined by a different Outrun. Like the people who had the original Outrun, that's what they consider is Outrun. But like for us, we grew up with Outrun 2 being the definitive arcade machine. The one, like, especially if you got enough money, and you know, like sometimes they had those fancy ones that had the Ferrari body, and then like you pay £2 and it like moves and stuff, you know, like it.
Oh god, yeah. I haven't actually tried that one. The one where it moves around and stuff.
I have actually played that one, and it's cool, but it also kind of sucks because if you've got enough money and 2 people, there's 2 steering wheels in it. and you think it's a Connect game. No, it's not. What happens is you drive to a like checkpoint, and then it's like, player 2, take over right now, and you're like, what? Excuse me?
Oh man, I don't like the idea of that. I like that just being like the one person.
Exactly.
Like, hand the control over to someone just doesn't feel right to me.
Yeah, and that's the only problem with that one.
I need to be responsible for my own actions.
Yeah, innit? I want to be drifted around my corner with my virtual woman.
Not some greasy glasses nerd is right next to me.
Yeah.
Nice one. Okay, cool. That's I think that's great. We're on the same page there, then, Nathan. Right.
Yeah.
Well, you gave us 3 examples anyway. But
like I said, that one, I was actually hoping like through our discussion I would pick which one takes the slot, and I didn't get any closer. I do have a lot of passion for Outrun though. I'm not denying that, but it still isn't enough to be like, yes, Outrun is number 5.
Okay. So just a quick question for you then. Like, so out of those 3 games, if you had to get rid of one out of those 3, you had to just erase one from history, what would you go for? Like, you can keep the other 2.
I still can't pick. I actually can't.
It's like choosing between your children.
It literally is. Unfortunately, in this scenario, I think I'd have to pick Outrun because there's just no way to play it.
I love that we've spent the last 10 minutes going on that. Outrun's so cool.
Yeah.
Outrun's so cool. Which one do you get rid of? Outrun.
I know. But literally, you're like, if you think about it, yeah, Need for Speed. Okay, it doesn't come out regularly, and it's not always the best. But Need for Speed, I could turn on my PS4 right now and play that. Forza Horizon, I could turn on an Xbox and play that right now. I mean, I'd have to go and get it and plug it in, but I could still play that right now. Outrun, how am I playing that?
It's true. Yeah, you gotta go for some retro lengths to get on.
Exactly. Or I need to do some next whatever to get it to run, and in that sense, it would have to be Outrun. It pains me to say it, but the logic is flawless. Like, I don't know how else. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I don't know how else to do it.
I get that, man. I understand that. It's a very logical decision. It's a heartbreaking one, but I understand.
It is, especially because that means I'm killing Splashwave.
Yeah, you erase Outrun, you erase Splashwave. That's gone from history now.
I also feel like if I erase Outrun, I erase a large portion of my own history.
Yeah, it's just a blank.
It is. I spent a lot of time playing that. Arcade and otherwise. Moving on. What is your number 4?
Okay, so I had to think long and hard about this one. And it's a game from my childhood. Been playing it since the early 90s or mid 90s. I've gone for Pokemon. Yeah.
Okay, so I have also gone number 4, Pokemon.
Wow. Okay, this is like slowly turning into an episode of Mr. and Mrs.
Okay, right. For exactly what you said, I've been playing it since it came out, and I'm still playing it, and I know you're still playing it because we've done the Dynamax raids together, and with some of our mates. I don't know how this doesn't make our list in any capacity.
It's like a staple of gaming history at this point. Not even just because of obviously because the games are out, but like when you look at like the anime and like all the stuff that's going on right now.
What I mean, like, what is it? It's widely known as the most profitable media franchise of all time, isn't it? Like, it's made the most money out of anything ever.
And that's the thing. That's how widespread it is. Like over the 90s, like it was just this thing. The trading cards, all like everything's just man.
You want to talk to trading cards? I feel like that's an episode in itself. Pokemon as a gaming franchise.
There's so much to it. Like, that's the thing. Like you think Pokemon gaming, and you think the standard. Like mainline games, you like your Red and Blues.
Even then, I really enjoy quite a lot of these spin-off games. I know they're quite divisive. Like, people don't tend to like a lot of them. I think the only one I haven't played of the Mystery Dungeon series is the last 3DS one. But before that, I played every other one, like every single one.
Was that Explorers of the Sky? Was it?
No, I think it was Super Mystery Dungeon. That's the last one that came out.
Oh, the 3DS ones.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
The 3DS ones. Yeah, that was the last. That was the last one that ever came out, and I haven't played that. But besides that, I played all the other ones. I played the. I don't know if you ever played the Pokemon Ranger games. They're pretty cool.
I played Pokemon Ranger 1 and I got really into it, but I think I got stuck somewhere. I think I was trying to catch an Electrike or something. That's the thing that's sticking in my mind right now. That there was an Electrike and it was the most like pain in the ass thing to try and catch.
When that game goes well, you're like, yes, feels great. But when it doesn't work and you're just an idiot staring at this tiny little thing spinning a little plastic pencil, right, on his touchscreen, going, come on, like drawing circles around a Pokemon, you feel like the biggest idiot ever. Like, yeah, it's one of those where you sit there and you're like, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah. Yeah, there's probably a reason why like it never really went past 2. Like they never really saw them come back after that.
It's a shame.
I can understand I can understand why they are like it's a hit and miss one. I can understand why it's a hit and miss.
What was those ones that had the little figurines? You know, the ones that
Pokemon Rumble.
That was it.
Yeah. Okay, I got really into that.
I remember playing that. I remember playing that at your house. You're the reason I even ever heard of that. I remember going to your house. You like booted it up, and I was like, "What is this? What is that? I've never seen that before."
That was like the original Wii one as well.
Yeah.
Like that's the first ever Pokemon Rumble. And looking back at it, it is so basic.
It was good. I got hooked straight away after playing it at your house. I think I went home and bought it myself.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's a good game, even though it was basic. And it's like, oh, go through this grass world, like beat this giant Pokemon, you win, and then the levels would just repeat itself after that. But even then, you're like, oh, I'm on this next level. What other Pokemon from this grass world are going to appear up?
Yeah, exactly.
And then suddenly, like, there's these Exegutors coming out when there was like Executes before. And then you're like, oh, I need one of them. And you're constantly trying to get that stronger Pokemon.
It's a shame it went free to play. I feel like that's what killed it.
Was there a free to play one though? I swear there was at one point.
It was on the
phone.
Yeah,
and that's like died now.
Yeah, I actually think they shut it down last year.
Yeah, I just don't think it got the popularity. But they released it on Android before.
It was grindy.
iOS.
It's super grindy. Like, why would you keep playing it? Like, I mean, it's a standard free-to-play game. Every time you do an action, you lose energy, quote unquote, whatever they call it in the game. I only played it, I think, for like 2 days. And then it's the standard, oh, you've done your, I don't know, 10 actions or whatever, and that's just because the first login is like, oh, we gave you 5 extra lives or whatever. And then you're like, so what do I do now? Wait till tomorrow when you've got some more lives and then come back, idiot. Give us your money.
Yeah, it's just like classic freemium like tactic.
Yeah, it literally became like, oh, what's that? You can't get past this level. Why don't you give us some money and we'll give you... You can start right now from where you are, where you died. Or, you know, you can summon better Pokemon because you gave us money for the premium summon. And it's like, no, I'm not doing that.
Well, talking of those freemium games, I mean, you have Pokemon Go going on right now as well.
I drop in and out of that, for sure.
I mean, like, that's the thing. For me, Pokemon Go at the start is massive. Like, everyone was on that. In summer 2016, everyone was just outside looking at their phones.
You knew it was big when in everyone's life, everyone knew people who were playing that who would never have played Pokemon before. Like, just straight up. I mean, like, I think I had aunties and uncles who had tried it out for a little bit, and I'm like, you didn't care about Pokemon when I was a kid, and now all of a sudden this Pokemon Go thing comes out, and everybody was on it.
Like, I still play it a lot these days, even though I can't really go out the house.
I know they changed it last year, like after I think partway through the first lockdown, at least over here for us. But like in my area, that still made it really hard to play.
Yeah.
Because like I would still have to like walk up the road or whatever to get to the closest stops and gyms. So like I could still catch stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, well, you know, we're giving you free stuff now, and you can spin one of the stops because you're just close enough. But I was like, it's still not enough to make me play even in quarantine.
Yeah. I think like I go in there now just to see what's about, throw a couple Pokeballs, and then I'll just switch the app off again. Like just to complete like the daily tasks in that, like the field research.
I really like to think you're not catching anything. You just go in, you waste your Pokeballs, you just chuck them, you just throw them, and then you're like, cool,
I
I'm
think
done
currently like I've stocked up like 160 Pokeballs right now.
Jesus.
Just like they're just there because obviously like I'm going on there, and then I'm like, cool. I've like if I see a new Pokemon, I'll try my best to catch it. But I'll just look at it and be like, I've got all these. I'm just gonna leave them.
I was gonna say it's got to be few and far between now for you. Like,
yeah, but yeah, like even like looking at those side games anyway. Going back to that, like there's so many good ones. Like I've like one of my favorites. Anyway, I don't know if you've played it. Like, or I might have lent it to you at one point. Pokemon Colosseum.
you did lend that to me, and I did get obsessed, but I think I gave it back to you because I was gonna go buy a secondhand copy, and for whatever reason I didn't buy a secondhand copy, and I've to this day only played I think about 2 hours of that game.
Yeah, I think at its time it was amazing because obviously all the Pokemon games are handheld, like they weren't like that advanced graphically, and then you have this like GameCube version or Nintendo 64 version for stadiums, and it's just like, oh my god, my Pokemon in 3D, and there's like all this animation going on, it looks awesome. And like right now, I think obviously we're not seeing those types of side games because you've literally just got like Sword and Shield, where it's basically those things.
Well, I mean, you say that, but I mean, we are kind of getting a new side game. The new Snap's coming out. They said it was coming out in April, wasn't it? April 20th or something?
Yeah, end of April, and like, it looks so good. It looks so good.
I never really got into Snap.
Did you not?
No, like, do you remember they had that Pokemon thing down at the Dome
Yes.
back in like, what was it? It was 2000, wasn't it?
Must have been 2000, yeah.
Like, I remember I went there, and that's where I played Stadium for the first time, and I played Snap as well, but I was way more into Stadium, because I remember distinctly I played it, and then I went home and immediately put that on my birthday Christmas list that year to get Stadium. But like, yeah, I just never really got into Snap. I never understood the hype. I'm like, I get it. It's cool. You can take pictures of your Pokemon, but at the same time, I'm like, I still don't understand why I'd want to do that.
I think, like, for me, because I never had a Nintendo 64 when I was a kid, I had a PlayStation. I never got Pokemon Snap until it was on the Wii. I got it.
Okay.
Like on the when they did the virtual console, and like I just enjoyed it so much. Then it's just like you just go around, you take your pictures of your Pokemon. Obviously, like the better angles, the more points you get. And it's like it was like kind of collectathon as well. Like you want to fill your Pokedex with all these like pictures of Pokemon.
Yeah, but I mean, like I could do that normally. I'll just boot up my Game Boy and try and catch them all.
But it's capturing them through photos and
you
art.
Mean stealing their souls?
It's the art.
You're stealing their souls and locking them in a tiny piece of paper.
I tell you what is as well, like there's certain ways where you can only get like pictures of Pokemon like by doing like you throw an apple at a Pikachu's head and he like falls backwards and it creates a series of events. And it's just like, oh my god, like Charizard's here now, and you're like, I've got to get the picture of the Charizard.
I've seen like videos of that. Like I've watched people play it, but I just again for whatever reason personally I just don't get it.
Yeah,
and I probably won't get the new one because I just didn't understand the first one to a certain extent. So like
it does feel like a strange concept. Like if you didn't get into it, like even people that don't know about Pokemon Snap originally, they might look at this and be like, yeah, it looks really cool in terms of graphics.
I mean, it looks beautiful. I will give them that. I wish Sword and Shield looked that good. All I'm saying is, right, I feel like the only way I'm going to get into it is if we can finally go, like, hang out with people again, right? You have it, and I sit and watch you play. But even then, I feel like I'm still gonna. I'll have fun watching you, and we'll mess around and we'll have a laugh. But at the end of the day, I still feel like I'd leave being like, I don't know why Pepe bought that game. Still don't quite understand it.
Like, that's fair enough, man.
I don't know why I can't connect with it, but I just can't. It's so weird. And I feel like I'm missing out because everybody, I feel like from the, like all the 90s kids, you're like Pokemon Snap and everyone's like, yo, yes, yes. And I'm like, what? What? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's just one of those things. Like, I can understand why people aren't, like, some people wouldn't be into it as much. Especially when you compare Stadium and that, like, side by side.
Stadium just felt, that Stadium had more to do. That's all I'm saying. Like, to me, that it just felt like Stadium had more to do. I'm like, oh yeah, okay. Oh, I can take pictures of Pokemon. Or I could be a Lickitung and I can eat sushi on a conveyor belt and have a Japanese man scream stuff that I don't understand because I'm a kid. I'm an adult now.
Wait, the game was in Japanese, like, when you...
Do you not remember? In the mini... No. Everything was in English, but in the mini game, the voiceover, there's a Japanese voice and they're saying something, but I have no idea what it is. I still don't really know what they're saying. But yeah, it's a Japanese voiceover. And I distinctly remember being a little kid running around eating the sushi as a Lickitung and having this like voice going, Onisa!
Oni-san? brother.
No, I obviously would know brother, but he's saying something. I just remember him like screaming like that. And then obviously Lickitung like eating something it didn't like and then running away from the conveyor belt going, like, I remember this. I remember it so clearly because I played it so much. Yeah, like, if I had to pick between those two games, because I'm pretty sure they came out basically at the same time, I would have picked Stadium every time.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it, on Nintendo 64 anyway, there's only like a handful of games when you look back at it. Like, the library is good. The Nintendo library is brilliant.
It had a lot of games, but, like, there were definitely the ones that defined the platform.
Yeah, it's just there's only a handful of it when you compare them. Though it's weird when you look at it.
Well, yeah, because pretty much it's. I mean, that's like most system sellers, isn't it? Like, if you don't, it's like if you don't have that game, why did you have that console? It's like if anyone had an N64 and it's like, did you have GoldenEye? No, then why'd you have it? You didn't play GoldenEye.
I bought a Nintendo 64 in 2008. And I can confirm that I actually never had GoldenEye on it.
Well, then why'd you have it?
Never.
There you go. There's that exact There's the exact conversation. Why'd you have it? Like that, I feel like if you say N64 to anyone, probably the first thing that's going to come up is GoldenEye.
Yeah, that's a whole other category we're getting onto now. But yeah, Pokemon for me deserves that number 4 spot. Like. There's loads in there. We can go on about Pokemon for hours.
Oh yeah, we could. It's a massive franchise. We didn't even talk about the main series, really.
We did. We just talked about side games.
But that just goes to show why it's on the list.
Okay. Just a quick one then. Just so we do give the main game some love. What is your favorite gen?
3
out of the 3.
I didn't even have to think about it.
Yeah, exactly the same. I'd say 3 as well. Like everything about it is just brilliant.
The one I played the most, I had, because I remember I got Sapphire and Ruby when I went on a family trip, like family holiday, and I loved them, and I played the crap out of them. And then I get a little bit older, and one of the game shops had Emerald, and it was affordable at the time, and it had a box and everything, so I bought it, and then I spent a lot of time playing Emerald, and then obviously Alpha Ruby, or Alpha Sapphire, Omega Ruby, sorry, Gen 3, bro.
It was so good. Like, I think, like, I was the same as you. Like, for me, Ruby and Sapphire were just like so. Like, I absolutely loved them as a kid. Just seeing those remade for the 3DS, they were absolutely beautiful. Like, I love that. Like, the music was so well on them as well. That's one of the staples for Gen 3 for me. Like, the music. Like that, the trumpets, man. You can't beat those trumpets.
I genuinely think I enjoy Pokemon more nowadays, and it might be nostalgia, but like the main series, when they do the remakes, is I end up thinking of those more. Like, I think Fire Red instead of like Red, because I guess they're the ones that I would have played most recently.
Yeah.
But I feel like I made a stronger connection to the mainline series the older I got, because I actually started understanding the game. Because as a kid, I've actually gone back to old cartridges, and like Pokemon Yellow, for example. And one of my Pokemon Yellows, I've got a disastrous team. I've got like 2 Flareons.
Oh, 2.
A Blastoise.
Just because one wasn't enough.
Yeah, like
just needed the 2 of them.
I've got two Flareons, a Blastoise, a Pikachu, and probably like Pidgeotto or something. And I'm like, what is this?
Wait, not even the Pidgeot, just the Pidgeotto.
Something like that. Yeah, it's a really stupid random team. And I'm like, clearly a kid played this. Like, kid version of me at 5, like 4 or 5 years old played this, right? Because I'm like, me nowadays, that would not happen. But I feel like me nowadays is also why every now and again I feel like I drop off of Pokemon, because I turn it into work. It's not a game, because it's like, right, what's my team comp? What coverage am I doing? You know, like, it becomes a whole different thing. Whereas I wish I could sort of go back somewhere in between being a mindless kid struggling to play the game because I didn't understand, and this like analytical adult that is like, I need to cover all my bases, like somewhere in the middle where I'm like,
yeah,
I'm thinking about team comp, but I'm just still having fun, you know. I'm like, whatever. It doesn't work anymore. I think I'm just over that hill.
I completely get that. Like, as a kid, you just want to catch the cool Pokemon.
Yeah,
you just like, oh, that thing looks cool. I don't care what type it is. I'm just going to throw out against this random.
Exactly.
Like, I'm going to throw out against the Elite Four. I'm not sure why it's dying. Its Pokemon's dying quite quickly, but I'll use it anyway. And like, it's those sort of things. Like, you just like, that was more of the challenge.
Elite Four, got to look out for my 2 Flareons.
Like, you'd just pick your team of favorite Pokemon. You'd go out there, get destroyed. You wouldn't know why you get destroyed. I certainly didn't know type things in
type advantages. Oh my god, yeah, I didn't know that was a thing.
I was out there like throwing like Blastoises out against Venusaurs and stuff. They'd get absolutely bodied. And like, but that was the joy of it. It was a challenge. And right now, as you said, like you know the rules to it. You know what to do, and it probably doesn't have that.
I would hope we know the rules. We've been playing it since the 90s. Like,
imagine if I didn't at this point. I'm still throwing out like water Pokemon out against like all these grass.
You would be the same as Ash Ketchum.
Yeah.
Oh.
One day I'll win a league.
Oh, he's got a dragon type. Go Pikachu! Oh, there's a ghost type. Go Pikachu!
That's great. Cool. So should we move on to our number 3s then?
Okay. I think 3 onwards might be where we differ.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be a bit of a...
So, this will be interesting. What is your number 3?
Okay, so I had to think of this one as well. I think I've gone for this one, but just because like I love my fighting games, and I think this one stood out most to me. Just in terms of all of them, like I love like Street Fighter, Tekken, but like none of them are really top 5 material.
I think I know what this is.
The number 1 fighting game in terms of 2D fighter anyway is Blazblue.
Yep. Okay. Yep. As soon as you said fighting games, this is where my mind went for you.
Again, a game that I didn't really discover until like early 2010s.
Wait, was it the first?
That's when it came out.
Was the first one we saw at a Comic-Con, wasn't it?
I think
one
of them were...
That's the first one I saw.
I think I discovered it randomly. Like, I think I bought... I don't know if you ever heard of Neo magazine.
Yeah.
Is it Neo? Like, it's that manga and...
Yeah, I know the one.
So randomly I bought a copy of that, just like flick through it, see like what the like latest series are. Never bought it before, and then I see this advertisement for this like this game which is getting like mad reviews everywhere. It's like, oh my god, the best 2D fighting game ever.
Well, they had to make it because they couldn't make Guilty Gear.
I didn't know anything about Guilty Gear at this point. Like, literally, this is all news to me. I wasn't that much into the fighting game like sort of community. And then like that's the thing. I see this advertisement, and I'm like, okay, this is a thing that exists. it's fine. Give it a couple years, down the line. Blazblue, like Calamity Trigger, released ages ago. I see it for like £10 in Game Station.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'll pick this up. I think this looks cool. I've heard good things about it. And like playing it, it's like, for me, that was just like all the character designs, like the graphics look beautiful on it.
I mean, they are cool.
Like the music, the whole like anime like aesthetic of it. I was like, oh my god, this game's great.
He is a cultured boy.
I am a cultured boy. I live for the aesthetics. I come
2D.
for the games. I stay for the class. But like even then, like that's just the fighting on it, and then you get to the story of it, and then like this story is. I tell you what, I'm not gonna lie. Blazblue's story is like it gets confusing at times. They throw out these words like they know, like you know what they mean. They even have an in-game dictionary.
I've tried to watch a Let's Play and I got lost immediately.
Oh, it's like there's stuff like they talk about ether so much in that, and like when I was playing through the story, I was like, what the hell is ether? They've been talking about this thing for so long. It's like, oh, I can sense the ether here. The ether is strong here. And I'm like...
In general, in RPGs or, like, fantasy stuff, ether's, like, magic, in it.
Well, yeah, like, typically. And then, like, they said, like... It's a weird situation in Blazblue because, like, ether is just this thing that's in the air. And, like, it probably is the magic thing. Like, and it's just there. But, like, I was so confused by it. And then they have all these other terms, like the NOL, which is the...
What the hell?
Oh, I can't remember exactly what it is.
You know what? I wouldn't dwell on it too much.
It's the librarian. In short, they call it the librarian. And the librarian are evil. The library, they're like evil like guys. They're gonna do stuff. They want to change their
education is
their
dangerous.
continuum. And it's like there's like so much stuff going on. That there's so many different plot points. Like it's a visual novel. The story mode is literally a visual novel.
I mean, it is
with
a
couple
Japanese game.
fights thrown in.
Like the Japanese do love their visual novels.
I mean, I love my visual novels. Apparently, I don't think I really played one until Blazblue story mode, and then. But,
god!
Everything about that game I absolutely loved, and then what was it? Then Continuous Shift comes out. I think that one was the one I really got into. Like that was one that I was like heavily into. And then they all just do. It does the typical game thing after that, the fighting game thing, where they release Continuum Shift 2. What's okay. Continuum Shift 2? It's got 2 extra characters in it. And then, what's after Continuum Shift 2, Nathan? I hear you ask. Well, you got Continuum Shift Extend.
I was literally going to say, the naming convention of that franchise, every time you tell me, you're like, oh, I got a new Blazblue, and I'm like, what? Is it? That was a new one. Is it not the same? Is that not the old one? I thought it was the same thing.
It's the exact same thing with probably 1 extra track, a little bit extra story mode, and an extra character.
Why release a new thing? Like just DLC it. Do a Capcom.
It doesn't work as well for DLC. It's just like
what you're talking about.
Release an entire game.
You're talking about a character.
It's how it works.
A new track. Just do a Capcom and fucking put everything in DLC.
No. I think like Continuum Shift 2 was like one for the handhelds, I believe. I think that was like on the 3DS. Okay. That's like with all the DLC included in it. And then Continuum Shift Extend was just something else. That's like literally, hey, just throw this extra character in. But no, give it like about, what was it? There's 2 or 3 more Blazblue games after that, and then you have Blazblue.
Oh, Cross Tag Battle, wasn't it?
Cross Tag Battle, that was it. Yeah, Cross Tag Battle came out, and I did play a bit of it. I don't think I've played it as much as the original Blazblue games.
I was meant to buy that game way back when, and then I just couldn't be asked.
But yeah, it's a good game. Like, did you ever play Persona 4 Arena?
I did. I think it was free on PS3 at one point. I think a couple years back, and I downloaded it. I played it for an hour, and it was cool. For me, it's the same arc system works problem that it's got a really deep combo system, and I just couldn't be asked to learn. I just wanted to hit buttons and, couple of quarter circles here and there, try and do a Street Fighter, and then I was off. I was like, cool,
Yeah.
I'm done.
I agree with you there. I think I actually bought Persona 4 Arena. Again, found it in sale in like a CEX somewhere.
I think you did. I think I
But,
remember coming over to your house to play it one time. Not specifically
Yeah,
because you had it. I think it was just something to do when
Yeah.
I came over. But
It was an alright game. I don't think it hit the same as Blazblue for me. But Blazblue Cross Tag Battle includes all those sort of like,
I remember
Those
that.
dynamite.
That was a big deal for me. I really wanted to get that one because I remember it was like, oh, it was Blazblue, Guilty Gear, Persona, the Ruby characters, and that other fighting game I never heard of until then.
The thing
What
is,
was that
you
other
say Guilty Gear. There's no Guilty Gear in it. That's the thing that always confused me about Cross
I
Tag Battle.
swear, Soul Bad Guy was supposed to be in it, wasn't it?
No, like they had Ruby from the Ruby series.
So, oh, okay. I always thought Guilty Gear was in it too.
You would have thought, like, because
'Cause
they
it's
have
Arc
like
Systems.
sort of they have the like color scheme, don't they? So it's blue
What?
for Blazblue, yellow for Persona.
Well, it's also because it's Arc Systems. Like,
Yeah,
they make
you would have
both of
thought,
them.
oh yeah, Soul Bad Guy's got to be in this. And they're like, no, didn't add him. I thought that was a very strange decision by them.
well, then that's probably why I didn't buy it. No Soul Bad Guy. It's my
No
favorite.
Soul Bad Guy, no play.
Yeah, like Soul Bad Guy was my favorite character from Guilty Gear. Also, the only character I seem to remember. I don't know the names of any other characters in that.
Yeah, I've never actually played Guilty Gear.
You know what?
Is this?
Yeah, I'm probably going to get lampooned because I have very little knowledge. I've played a little bit of both series. You're basically playing kind of the same game. They're made by the same people. I
Yeah.
feel like it's got very similar fighting systems. I do remember reading that they made Blazblue because there was some sort of issue with the Guilty Gear franchise, so they couldn't make Guilty Gear anymore, so they just made something very similar.
I can see that, to be fair. Like, I mean, like they like when you look at them side by side,
Character designs are very similar.
they're the same sort. You can tell, okay, this is made by the same company.
Yeah.
It's the same sort of genre sort of thing. Like, I'll give Guilty Gear a shot. Like, if anyone's got any idea, like recommendations of Guilty Gear games to pick up first, like let me know, and then I'll jump on it for sure.
I can't remember what the latest one was. I think there was one on
There was one
PS4.
on sale on the Switch. The thing is, they all have weird names as well. That's quite hypocritical considering BlazBlue's naming convention. But like they've got like X, like 3RD and stuff like that, like 13RD. I could be pronouncing that completely wrong.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you. I'd have to probably do a Google search. But yeah, I don't know where to start either. I knew there was a newer one on PS4. I think it came out maybe 2 years ago, or maybe 2.5. It was fairly recently.
It's probably quite cheap on PlayStation now, to be fair. Could probably pick it up for like maybe £7.
I don't know, mate. It'd be something you'd have to look into, but
They're all games that like these are all games that I've seen on sale. And I'm like, oh, I should really pick this up. Then I'm like, I just love BlazBlue, man. Or like, I just realised I might also be pronouncing it completely wrong. I know that everyone calls it BlazBlue.
I pronounce it the same way you do because you're the biggest fan of it that I know.
Oh, it's bad though. It's bad for me. If I'm the biggest fan of like BlazBlue
Look,
and I've been pronouncing it
I'm
wrong
not
this
gonna
whole
lie.
video, I'm gonna get some major stick.
I'm not gonna lie. I really
from BlazBlue fans.
I don't
anyway.
tend to talk to people about fighting games because I'm bad at fighting games. I love I love fighting games, but I'm bad, so I don't tend to bring them up because I don't want to get bodied. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, I have another confession about BlazBlue.
Okay.
It's the fact that
It sounds wrong. Sorry, I just heard you say it the other way, and it just sounds wrong now. Hits the ear wrong.
it's BlazBlue. That's the thing. I can't say BlazBlue anymore.
Yeah, see, you've said it the proper way, or the way everyone else says it, and every time you say it, it hits my ear really, really wrong. I don't like it.
Shall I go back to BlazBlue just for the sake of it?
You do you, mate. You do what you feels right.
I'm going to go back to BlazBlue because clearly it's natural to me. And
The other
I've been
way,
saying it so
I'm
much.
telling you, the other way, just I'm like,
Please forgive me, BlazBlue fans, in the comment section. But I'm going to go back to saying BlazBlue now. And anyway, BlazBlue. I'm as you said, Nathan. You're like with fighting games. I'm not gonna say I'm the best at them either. I'm probably terrible. if I went online, I would get bodied automatically. Which is why, for me, it's very helpful that Blazblue has a technical and a stylish option.
Yes.
And being the scrub lord that I am, I've always played on the stylish option because I do not know how to do proper combos, and I just love the game so much, and I love the aesthetics of it that I just like playing on the stylish mode. It looks cool, and like it just feels good, and yeah, actually. Saying this, I think I went online once, played a game in the stylish mode, and I think some guy, I think I beat him with it.
Did he get salty and
then
message you like?
He messaged me. He messaged me saying, "Hey, just letting you know that you like playing stylish mode online is thoroughly looked down upon," and I was like, "Jesus Christ!"
Okay,
I'm
I can
trying
at
this
least
stuff out.
appreciate that he had some tact. Like, because like normally if you're like, some rando message me, beat him online, he'd be like, "Oh, why don't you fucking play like a real man? You're playing on stylish, what are you fucking?"
He did it in a very dignified way.
Yeah.
He was very polite about it.
I can appreciate that at least.
It was passive aggressive, and it scared me off playing online Blazblue for the rest of my life.
Hey man, have you ever tried to actually like learn to play a fighting game?
I have I've tried combos.
I've actually tried to learn Street Fighter, right? That shit's hard. Like spacing, frame data, like fuck all of that. I just want to chuck fireballs.
See, you know what I mean? You just want it to like look good. Like you just want to feel awesome while playing it.
I tend to normally feel awesome because I'm killing people with fireballs. What's cooler than fireballs from your hands, bro? Nothing.
I think mad respect to people that actually learn all the combos
for sure.
and like actually pro players like that.
Watching pro players is amazing.
Like hats off to them. I could probably never do that sort of thing.
I could definitely never do that. I've tried.
Yeah,
it doesn't work.
Like I could never be that standard, and like yeah, that's why I just play what I can do. I play within my means, Nathan. And yeah, I think that's my summary of Blazblue. I'd say Blazblue, wherever it decides to call it now. Again, apologies to anyone that got offended by my pronunciations.
You say it however you want to say it.
Go on, Nate. What's your number 3 then?
My number 3 is Monster Hunter.
Okay.
I
could see this.
Thinking on my list, there was no way this franchise was never going to make it. I have played most of the Monster Hunter games available to me ever since I got into the franchise. I played back on the PSP, Freedom, the first one, and something about that game, even though it's hard, like really hard, and I was never good at it, right? The first one, I never got past basically what in the game they called low rank. So I got to 4-star missions just barely because my cousin had to finish one for me. Like I literally handed my PSP to him and was like, "Can you beat this for me?" Right? I couldn't do it. And the second one, I also didn't get very far. I think I got to 5-star at most again. But like as the franchise has gone on and the more I've played, I just really love most people don't like Monster Hunter because it's like it's hard and it's the grind, right? Because it's like, oh, you want armor? Well, it might have a rare drop that's only 5%. You've got to go and grind and kill this monster like 100 times, and you might get it, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like that, but for some reason, for me, I normally hate grinding. I really, really hate grinding. But Monster Hunter, for whatever reason, works for me, and I've played and gotten better as the franchise has gone on, all the way up until World. I do endgame stuff when I first get there, but it's not what I really like to do anymore. But it's just something about, I don't know, the epicness of being a normal sized person, albeit a little like superhuman-ish because you don't take full damage in that game, and let's face it, a fucking giant monster swinging its full body weight at you, you'd be dead, right? You can't take a fireball to the face and get up like it was nothing.
Yeah.
It's a little fantastical, but it's amazing. There's something about it, like getting the right timing, the dodges down, learning the combos for the weapons. And then there's also, like, you get deeper into it and there's things like, this monster is, you know, weak to this element. Now you've got to go make that type of weapon. And then there's like, oh, well, now my armor set has this deficiency. Now I need to use the gem system to, like, either fix that or give me something better than that. Like, and take it in a different direction. The game is super deep. And they've only more recently in the last decade or so, I guess really not even decade, it's really just World, where they've made it way more accessible for new people. And as someone who played Monster Hunter back in the day when it was really unknown, it's just amazing to have more people, right? Just to have more people. And I don't play it all the time. It's not something that I typically will, you know, play just to kill time. Even though it's great for that because it takes a long time to do anything nowadays in endgame. Like, just having more people, like the option to play with more people when before there was no one. Like, if I didn't have my cousin sitting right next to me, I couldn't play it. Yeah. With other people. So it's amazing where it's come.
Did the original one, like on the PSP, did that have like a Wi-Fi option or anything, like to play online?
No, you had to. It was local co-op, so you and the person who wanted to play both had to have a copy of the game and your own PSP, and you could play like wirelessly together, but it didn't have like an online option.
Yeah. When did that come into it, the online option?
Online didn't come in till the 3DS, at least for us. And that was 3DS and Wii. And that was Monster Hunter 3. Monster Hunter Tri on the Wii had the online function. But you couldn't talk to people. That was the weird thing, because you needed that weird Nintendo Wii mic thing.
Oh god, yeah, I remember that. The Wii Speak. Was it Wii Speak?
Something like that. But yeah, like,
something.
You could play with other people, but like, it was really cumbersome to use the in-game chat system, because then it would do that thing where like it brings up a whole window and covers the whole screen so you could type. Or you could use the in-game like preset messages, but it might not get everything you were trying to say across.
Yeah.
I remember I was playing with my cousin one time online, and we were actually like texting each other on our phones, which is just as bad, because we'd stop looking at the game in a hunt with people online to text each other like, oh, it's in area whatever, like go run to area 9, monsters there. And it was even worse, because it'd be like, sometimes I would stop looking at the screen to text him, your health is low, heal, look at the screen, and I'm dead.
So, I mean, I think back in those times, by the sounds of it, like just trying to like message on that, especially when you're using it on the Wii, or like I feel like was it ever on the PC at all, Monster Hunter, before World?
I think in Japan had many different versions. Yeah. Japan even had it on Xbox 360, and I remember hearing about that version, waiting for it. We never got it. They had it on everything in Japan. They've probably had 3 times as many Monster Hunters, 3 or 4 times as many Monster Hunters in Japan than we've had over here.
Yeah, I feel like just having it on the PC, especially with like that messaging tool, like way back in the day. I don't know if it changes much with World, because obviously you have party chats now, and it's just so much easier just to like be in a party with someone and say, hey, heal yourself, and that. But like having that keyboard option for like players that you're not familiar with would be so much more like convenient.
Back in the day, it definitely must have been way more convenient. But nowadays, like, I don't think it matters. Like you said, you've got all sorts of options for voice chat. So like, you've really got no need per se. Like, especially if you're like playing with friends, or like a normal hunting group, like a hunting party, you're probably going to be voice chatting. There really isn't a need to be like typing on anything.
Is that option still there? The typing option? It must be, right?
Yeah. I mean, in World, they've got loads of options for you to make custom like messages.
Yeah,
So,
I guess
like-
that'd help a lot of it. Just instead of opening a keyboard mid-hunt when there's a massive monster in front of you.
But the thing is, like,
just getting a keyboard out and start messaging these people.
the thing is, by this point though, like, if you've played Monster Hunter since the beginning or at any point before World, you get pretty good at noticing when you're supposed to do something. So like, I've played with randoms and they've carried me before, and all I've had to do is just heal. And that sounds bad, but you know, sometimes you go and join a hunt because you want to fight this monster, no one else is around, you can't do it by yourself, so you can complete it with a random or a group of randoms, and a lot of times those people are way better than you and you learn a few things. But all you can do at that point in time is probably just heal and let them kill it for you. Like, you can try and get involved, but you know, if you're not paying attention to your health, you're going to lose it for everyone. So like, it's one of those where I'm like, you can play without chatting to people or even using any of the in-game messaging, but you have to really hope that that person really is on top of their game.
Yeah, you don't want no scrubs.
Even at a basic level. But that's where it got really toxic before. Monster Hunter was really elitist. Like, it used to be like, people would kick you out of lobbies because you weren't high enough level or your armor wasn't good enough. It really was really bad in the community.
Sounds pretty savage by the sounds of it.
Yeah, because I remember one time on Monster Hunter 3 on 3DS, I went to go play in a random lobby. They wouldn't start any mission that I picked because I was a random who came into their game and playing low-level stuff. They didn't want to do low-level stuff. So then they wouldn't accept any missions until I left. And I would also get messages on the 3DS, like, pop up on the screen, like, leave.
Just straight up leave. Like, that's like...
It was really, really toxic in the community for so long. And I think it still kind of is, but with World, because it's a little more, like, there's more new people coming because it's way more accessible, I think it's a little less toxic. I think it's gotten better.
I hope so.
But I also now have like a regular hunting party if I wanted it, so I don't have to play with randoms.
Yeah.
Luckily. So I don't experience that anymore, but I have definitely experienced it, and it was rampant and it was bad.
I think that's just like, it's just online gamers in general, isn't it? They're hiding behind a keyboard and like,
but I also
say what you want.
I also understand why you do it though, because a game like Monster Hunter, where it takes a long time, and you could be preparing, like, you don't know how many times these people have done these hunts before, and then some random guy comes in. I might be rubbish, you know what I mean? I might be really bad at the game, and then I get wiped out 3 times instantly. That's it. That's another attempt gone. I'm not condoning, you know, being toxic like that, but at the same time, I understand it. Doesn't mean it's right. But yeah,
I think everyone's been a noob at some point with these sort of things,
and that's the problem.
It's been understanding with that.
That's the problem. People weren't understanding. Like, it was weird. It was almost like in the real world where they're like, yeah, okay, so you can apply for this job. You got 10 years experience. No, I just graduated. Sorry. It's like, oh yeah,
wow, Monster Hunter hitting on the real world truths right now.
Back then, it was like, oh, what's that? You want to hunt with us? Are you high rank? We're doing level 6 missions. No, I bought the game yesterday. Your problem, mate. Get out.
I mean, like, is it like, if you're a noob trying to start Monster Hunter online, like, is it easy to find other new players? Like, obviously with World, I feel like it's a lot more accessible.
They always had filters and things. It's just, I think back then there may be not so many filters.
Yeah. And
when you do tend to filter, because it was very toxic, and Monster Hunter was still kind of like a niche franchise, like where only people who knew Monster Hunter played. So if you got on the game too late and you didn't have people to play with that could teach you, there was no point playing online, because you wasn't going to find someone who's willing to jump into a 1-star lobby and help you with all the basic stuff. You needed like a friend or a friend of a friend who was willing to coach you through everything until you understood. Now there's all sorts of people starting at all sorts of levels. Maybe they're new, maybe they're not. Like, it's way easier now. Plus, the game has gotten better at explaining to people what they need to do. There's a lot of quality of life stuff that Monster Hunter included in World, and that's why it's like way more accessible to new players. Because before it was just like, if you didn't know someone who knew what they were doing, or you weren't gonna read or put in the time to get good, most people dropped it instantly. Like, I started teaching. I got loads of friends into it in Monster Hunter 3 on the 3DS, but I actually had to spend a lot of time basically teaching people how to play. But I was willing to do that because I wanted more people to play.
I think like you and a couple other guys have constantly tried to get me to play Monster Hunter.
I'll keep trying. I will keep trying. It will happen one day.
I've got the game. But for me, it's a bit of a struggle for me because I think it's what you said. Like, if you can't get into it, like, and it's the constant grinding as well, and like it's like you said before. Like when I find a good armor set or something, or a weapon that I really like the look of, because I like the look of items rather than their stats, apparently. I remember in, I think it must have been Monster Hunter 4 on the 3DS, like 4G or something, whatever it was. I had a really cool giant sushi knife thing. It might have been
I remember that. That was
great sword.
It was a very basic... Well, there was two. There was a great sword that looked like one of the Japanese knives. And then I believe there was the longsword version, which looked like a katana or sushi, like a tuna cutting knife.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. That's quite an early game sword.
Yeah.
It's got no stats.
I haven't played that much. And then I absolutely loved it. And then I was like, okay, cool, let's hunt this thing. And then it's like, this sword won't work here that well.
Yeah, because it was like, probably like yellow sharpness.
Yeah.
Early game stuff.
But I like this sword. I worked really hard to get this sword. But yeah, I think for me, it's a bit harder to get into. But like, I've given it a shot multiple times. I guess maybe it's just not for me.
I feel like the only way I would ever get you into it is if we got the brand new game on the same day.
Yeah.
And we were keeping pace with each other.
Yeah.
Because I think that's where
that'd have to
normally you drop off, because your excuse to us is normally, yeah, but you guys are like too far ahead. You got all the cool stuff, and like now I'm getting carried. So I'm like, I feel like the only way I'm ever going to get you into it is like a new one comes out, I convince you to buy it day one or whenever I buy it, right? And we end up playing it as a group and trying to keep pace with you.
Yeah, and even then, I know for a fact that you guys know the game so well. You've been playing it for so long.
Yeah, we do. But I mean, like, you know, we're willing to teach.
For me, I'm still learning with that, because I remember we played the Rise demo the other day.
Yeah.
And to be fair, playing it, I actually really enjoyed it for the few times we played it. It was quite fun. I think it's getting to grips with that.
The thing is, in a demo setting, it's hard to teach people because you know, especially because it was on Switch, so there's only 30 attempts at the whole thing. It doesn't even matter what you're hunting, right? So it's hard to teach someone in the demo because you've got like just that usage limit and you've got the time limit. So you obviously want to get as much done as possible.
Yeah.
When you actually have the game and you can, like, I could take the time to teach someone, I feel like that's when it's easier. Because like, I got one of my other cousins into 3 on the 3DS, and like it took ages. Like I spent months, me and my other cousin, teaching her how to play, like just again and again, and we'd do all the simple stuff and we'd get her up to scratch. It took a long time, but like I'm willing, if you ever turn around to me and went, okay, this is it, this is the time I want to learn, I would take the time to teach you.
I think that there will be one day, I reckon. Like I tell you what, I had more fun playing Rise than I probably did playing World. But saying that, I don't know how quick I would be to be like, okay, cool, I'm going to put money down for this game.
Yeah, I understand that too.
Yeah,
when it's a franchise,
I think
you know you're not...
it is a good game though. I think like if I put the time and effort into it, I reckon I would.
I feel like
really enjoy it. But
Rise might be the one that gets you just because it's on Switch. That's your weakness.
It looked good on Switch though as well. That's one thing I was quite surprised by. It probably looks better on World. Like, it probably looks like so much better. But like,
it depends. I mean, regardless, it's got that Capcom, like, I always call it Capcom cutting corners, you always notice a little something. There's always a little something in Monster Hunter games that you're like, I guess you decided not to do that, or you know, whatever. Like even playing Rise, I was like, yeah, it looks pretty good on the Switch, but I was like, I remember these textures. Yeah.
Did you play on handheld or TV when you were playing Rise?
Oh, when I play anything on Switch, I play on TV mode.
See, I was playing in handheld mode, and obviously, like, it's one of those things like you think, oh, it goes in handheld mode, the quality lowers or whatever. And I was actually really surprised at how good it looked for a handheld Switch game.
I mean, they might have focused on handheld mode, but that means they only have to focus on getting it to look good in like 720p, which is probably my issue. I was playing on a 4K TV.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for that, like, it's obviously gonna not look as good. But like, I don't know, if you ever give it a shot in handheld mode, see what you think.
I don't like playing I think it's because, but of the Joy-Cons I've got, because I've got two sets of Joy-Cons. One I don't use because it's got drift on both, and then the newer set I just don't want to risk getting drift on those. So I just play on TV mode with my Pro Controller because I'm like, well, that's why I bought the Pro Controller, was because I don't want to keep buying Joy-Cons.
Fair enough, man. So what would you say is your favourite Monster Hunter game, just rounding it off?
Ooh, that's a good one to ask. That's a tough one. I'd probably say Generations.
That's the one where it's like is it hybrid of like all the previous ones, or like a
Generations was basically the last 3DS one, and it took you back to different locations that you've previously been to in Monster Hunter, like previous like starting towns and stuff, and that was really cool. So that was probably my favorite one. Also one I played quite a lot of, just because like that was before World, and we were supposed to have gotten whatever it is on the Switch,
Generations 2,
Generations XX or whatever. Capcom.
That's out now. Although it's been out for a while.
It was supposed to have been like a launch title, and I was gonna get it. It was supposed to have come out around the same time as World, but then World came out and we didn't get Generations XX for like, I think, another 6 months, and by that point World had changed the game. There were so many quality of life things that it was like, I'm never playing an old Monster Hunter again.
It'd be so weird going back to an older version of that game, which is like suddenly like, I'm gonna say better right now, correct me if I'm wrong, like it's like so many improvements, and then going back to that old version probably is just like
it's a struggle. It really is, because it's like, it's the simplest things that they changed, but it makes the game way better. Like you don't have to focus so much on like the small tasks anymore, like, because that was a problem in old Monster Hunter. You always had to do like some stupid bollocks, right, to do something like simple. Like you used to have to actually press a button to climb a ledge. Now you just run up it. They just climb when you're sprinting, and it's a lot of stuff like that, or you're just like, I don't have to think about that anymore. Or like in original Monster Hunter, you used to have to mine whetstones so you could sharpen your weapon, and if you didn't mine whetstones or have a pickaxe to mine them, you couldn't sharpen your weapon. Now they just give you unlimited whetstones. Like that's just a thing you have. That's what I'm saying. Like there's quality of life things where it's just, there was a lot of rubbish.
It just fixes,
and like you can't go back now, because it's just, well, why do I have to do that? Like why do I need to do any of this stupid shit?
That's fair, man. So like with Rise coming out, then do you think you'll enjoy it more than World, or do you think it'd be like you're doing it just because it's a new Monster Hunter game with new mechanics?
From the demo, I think I'd still enjoy it. It seems like it's a hybrid, like the linking point between old Monster Hunter and World, because in the demo there was some stuff from World, and it still sort of looks like old Monster Hunter. I mean, obviously we only played the demo, so I don't fully know, but I still think I'd have a good time playing it.
Okay.
Plus, you know,
that's good.
It's themed around ninjas, so
the classic selling point. Ninjas.
Yeah, right. How am I not gonna like it?
I like ninjas.
I like shinobis.
Fantastic.
Cool. This.
Oh wow, that's a great way. What a great way to end your number 3 franchise. So okay, following on to number 2 then. Do you want to jump into number 2, Nate? What your number 2 game is?
Sure. My number 2, and I feel like my number 1 and my number 2 could swap, but they both would still be solidly up there. At the moment, my number 2 is the Yakuza franchise. It's not something I got into immediately. Like, I didn't play the original ones back on PS2. I watched a cousin play it. I didn't understand it at the time, but I was also like 10, so I don't think I ever would have understood it. But it was literally the release of Yakuza 0 where I played it. I bought that, I think, a couple of months after it came out, and I fell in love. Like, it's a great franchise. It's got good story. It's real Japanese. Like, it's half of it is visual novel. You know where they do that, like, oh, it's voiced in a cutscene, and then all of a sudden the next one is like, oh. And it's real fun, and it's got its serious moments, and then you do like a mini game or a side quest, and it doesn't take itself seriously at all.
Yeah.
Like, that's why there's Yakuza memes, because there are some things in that game where they just don't care. They'll do the most ridiculous thing, and it's hilarious, and it works. It just works. Like, my favorite, and I tell people this all the time, in Yakuza 0 specifically, you can take the main characters, Kiryu Kazuma and Goro Majima, into essentially a phone sex booth, right? A chat line. And the animation that plays, right? You pay, you go in, you see this cutscene of this stoic man sitting in front of a phone. It rings, and it's the most over the top, zooms in on his hand, picking up this phone, pulls it out, right? Zooms out, and it's like a full body shot, and the phone cord is like all over the place, and it zooms back in, and he puts it to his ear just to go, mushy mush. It's amazing. It's shit like that. And then, I mean, like, there's things like in Yakuza 2, you fight a bloody tiger.
As you do.
Yeah. You fight a tiger, and that something like that persists across the entire franchise.
Yeah.
Like, they bring it up in Judgment, the side game, like the spin-off game. They bring it up in 7 or Like a Dragon. Like, it's just great. And it's, as much as I didn't like it at first, that Like a Dragon wasn't going to focus on Kiryu, after finishing 6, I feel like it doesn't need to keep following Kiryu anymore. Like, I completely understand why they did that. And also, I recently learned from a Kotaku article, apparently there was a spin-off game way back when on the PSP, in Japan only, that didn't focus on Kiryu.
Oh, right, okay.
So, like, they did this way back when.
Well, like, what was the difference between it? Like, who was the main character in that? Is there still references in that from like the newer games?
No, not that I know of. Like, apparently
just forgotten about.
Yeah, apparently, like, the main character in those PSP side games, because apparently there were 2 of them.
Oh, right, okay.
Was some guy who just sort of gets caught up. He gets accused of something, and then he has to get into underground, like, death fights, essentially. Like,
fantastic.
He's an underground fighter, essentially, like, and he has to work his way out. I think there's another spin-off game in Japan only, where it's like in Edo period or something.
Yeah,
that's another Yakuza spin-off game. We didn't get that one over here. There was a spin-off game on the PS3 that we did get, where it's set in the Yakuza universe, and there's zombies, like zombie outbreak.
I remember this. Like, I think that was the first Yakuza game I actually remember, like, that it being advertised.
I remember people being disappointed, mainly because I was like, that was when my cousin was into it, and I hadn't got into it yet. I remember he was waiting for Yakuza 3 to be released over here. That's all we ever got. We got 1 and 2 on PS2. And then we got that zombie game. We never got any other ones over here until recently with all the re-releases. But like, it is seriously like the stories are pretty good. You just come to like care for these characters, and the old fighting system was it used to be kind of hard as well. Like, if you weren't careful or you didn't have a lot of healing items or whatever, you could go into any fight and just get wrecked. I know for a fact, with the Majima everywhere, like in Kiwami 1.
That meme is just fantastic. Like, I think ever since you've shown that to me, I'm just like...
Yeah, like, that's literally in Yakuza Kiwami, right? So the remake of the first one. Dude, you could be walking down the street and he'll come out and he seriously... There's so many times where I've had to redo like 2 hours worth of gameplay because I wasn't expecting him to appear and then I got killed. It's hard, man. Like, stuff like that is hard. And
is it one of those things where like it's the meme and it's funny as the meme, but when you're actually in that situation, you're like, really?
Yeah, pretty much.
You coming at me now, bro?
Yeah, pretty much. That one is that one sucks because it is sometimes it just happens and you're like, oh, I was in the middle of doing something. Like, I was on a roll. I did a bunch of side quests. I was sorting stuff out, you know, clearing the map, and then Majima turns up and destroys me. I'm like, you fucking asshole! Like, he'll turn up in a bloody idol outfit, and you're just like, what the fuck?
Is that legit? Is he actually turned up in an idol outfit?
Yeah, that is. He wears it. He wears that outfit in one of the karaoke songs in Zero. That's another thing. Karaoke is great in Yakuza because like depending on the song, there might be a whole like cutscene where it goes from whatever character you're playing as singing in like a bar, and then it goes into a weird like music video.
Yes,
you've probably seen the meme of like Kiryu from 6, where he's like standing at like this shoreline, and he's just got that like open mouth smile and a thumbs up, and that's like that's a karaoke song cutscene. He's like singing, and then all of a sudden he's like walking through Onomichi in Hiroshima. That's where the game in 6 is set partly. And it's like all the local townspeople are like, he's walking through and he's like strumming a guitar and he's singing this song, and then it ends, right? He puts his leg up on like a ledge and he turns to the camera with that open mouth smile and then a thumbs up, and that's how it ends. It's stuff like that. It's brilliant. Like, like, this is what I'm saying. Like, there's certain things that's just like, I don't know why you did that, but I love it. It's brilliant. Do it again.
It's one of those things that is so Japanese that it's just brilliant like that.
It transcends. It's just so over the top. It transcends culture. Some of this stuff. Again, Majima in Zero, right? Your first introduction is he's a very serious character. Some stuff has gone on and he has to be this really serious guy. And then you go do karaoke, right? And he sings this like upbeat, like almost like idol song. And he's on roller skates in this like bright, shiny outfit. And all you can hear, like, at some points, he's just going, I love you. You love me. Like, it's brilliant. And there's a whole dancing minigame. Like, trust me, like, this series is worth getting into. Like, the funny parts, the non-serious parts, balances out well. So you got enough serious and enough fun to keep you going.
That's what I love about those sort of games. Like, because like, if it's just serious all the time, you kind of just be like, okay, cool. It's just this thing that's going on. But like, it's kind of like that GTA sort of thing as well. Like, GTA has those like brilliant comedy moments.
Yeah, but it's like more extreme than that, and that's what makes.
Oh yeah, I mean Yakuza. Yeah, it takes it to a whole nother level. I mean, like, I just like what I know from Yakuza is that I've got 2 games of it. And I still need to play them. I've got Kiwami and I've got Zero. They're on my shelf. They're still in the wrap, like, and I need to just jump into them at some point. I will.
You should. Like, the thing is, they're so Japanese though. Like, in terms of actual like the game, it can be kind of hard sometimes to look over those things because you're like, I just want to be able to play the game, but it's like, oh, there's long ass cutscenes, and now it's like
Yeah.
slight visual novel parts, and it's like they every game forces you to do some of the side stuff at least once really early on, and that's just to get you to know that they're there, because
Yeah.
I feel like if the game didn't force you to, most of the time you wouldn't even bother.
That's
But-
right. Is that like a side questy sort of thing, or is that actually main story with?
No,
like,
they're all side quests, but like a lot of the times in a Yakuza game, it benefits you to do certain like mini games.
yeah,
So like some of these mini games, you end up like unlocking a good item that you could use later, like equipment or something, you know, like, or you can unlock a contact that then you can use in another mini game, and like that person would be better than just any random person they could generate. For example, in Zero, there's a real estate mini game. One of the best managers.
It's like
right?
every child's worst nightmare.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine getting that on like the PS1 real estate game.
So the best manager for Kiryu in that mini game, or at least one of the best managers, you need to keep playing the bowling mini game and do the bowling side quest. It ends with you having to get a turkey, so 3 strikes in a row, so you can unlock a chicken. And the chicken is one of the best managers.
Gee,
I'm not even kidding. A chicken is one of the best managers. That gag does come back in 7 as well.
yeah.
Or like for Majima, the best way to make money, at least from what I remember, was to do the hostess minigame.
Yeah.
But with the hostess minigame, basically you play through and you beat the other clubs, and you get like their best girl, and that's how you get better, and you end up making more money.
It's so interesting. The amount of like variation of
Trust
this,
me,
like,
it's things like that, but that's what makes this series. It just makes the whole series. It's really weird and it's really random, but the random works so well. Like, I feel like I'm talking about Zero a lot, but that's just because also I've been watching clips of it again,
Yeah.
and it's just like watching Kiryu play with these. They're called pocket circuit racers. They're like little cars that were really popular in Japan way back in the 80s. And it's like, the one cutscene that sticks in my mind is like, if your car loses, you just get this cutscene of Kiryu. It's like fully grown man, right?
Yeah.
Racing against children, defeated beyond all. Like, the look on his face is just utter like shame. He's so disappointed he lost, but you're also like, dude, you're racing against kids. This is a kid's hobby.
It means a lot to Kiryu, apparently.
Well, that's what's even funnier. It's like, it's literally like, I think the kids in that mini game and that side quest series, they're probably like 10, and in that game, I think Kiryu's like 27.
Wow,
20.
okay.
He's like 20 something. In his like late 20s, I think, mid to late 20s, and he's losing to kids, and it's the most depressed look, but it's hilarious.
That's true. I think there's like so much untapped meme potential with Yakuza.
Oh, there is.
Like, you
There
got like the
is.
Bakamitai memes and stuff.
And that's not even that great.
I mean, it's great. Like, it's one of those memes that last year was just there, and you're like, okay, cool.
Dude, I mean,
that's a
like,
meme.
I get it, Bakamitaya, but like, seriously,
Yeah.
you could have taken any of the other karaoke, and it would have been.
Yeah.
I think Majima singing that fucking Idol song would have been funnier.
Yeah. There's so
me
much
personally.
good stuff there, man. I need to pick it up for sure. Like,
Honestly.
I'll say it to myself every single year. I
I-
will one day.
I
Pick
could
it up.
sell this game. I could talk about this franchise forever. But it all comes down to just play it. Play it and you'll
Yeah.
understand yourself. Like, and if you don't get it, you're dead inside. That's all I'm saying. Right? I don't understand when people can't get into it. It's so good and it's so funny at times. If you can't get into it, you've got no soul. I'm going to die on that hill. You've got no soul. You need to seek some sort of help, because you're missing out on something really good.
Sega, hire this man. He will do wonders for your marketing. Nathan says, buy it or you have no soul. Laugh.
Honestly, if Sega want to come and be like, yo, we need you to advertise for Yakuza, I would be on that.
You could be the second Segata Sanshiro.
Oh my god, but just for Yakuza.
Oh, I'd love to see that. I think this needs to happen.
I'm pretty sure there is a second Segata Sanshiro. I think it was like his son.
Oh, who's Segata Sanshiro's son?
I don't know if it's his actual son or like an actor who played his son, but like I think they got someone who to take over like recently, like last year or something, or the year before.
Really?
I remember telling you about it. It's really weird.
Okay. I need to see more of Segata Sanshiro either way.
Yeah, I mean, what was the last time we saw him? When I sent you those those videos where he was a motorbike advertising what was it? UFO? The
noodles,
the
yeah,
noodle.
the UFO noodles.
By the way, I've had those. Pretty good.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
The UFO, like the yakisoba one, pretty good. On a divergent topic.
Well, there we go. That's what I like to hear. Just random food talk in the middle of a game thing. But that's it. Noodles, UFO noodles. I'll go out and find some.
Well, I mean, it kind of relates, you know. There's the
I
UFO
love
catchers
that.
in Yakuza, and you can eat noodles. You can eat yakisoba in the games. It all ties back somehow.
Yeah. Happy with that.
Anyway, moving on. What is your number 2?
Cool. So my number 2, for me, I only picked up this franchise. It's in 2013, which seems like it's only yesterday. It's actually like 7-8 years ago. But Fire Emblem is my number 2.
No, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
I think like it's one of those ones that I found my love for Fire Emblem when I picked up Awakening. Like
God.
and like it's one of those ones. I think I just downloaded a demo off the eShop one day, and I was like, I'll give this a play. I know, like everyone that knows a Fire Emblem in the West, it's like
Smash Bros.
It's Smash. Like you play Smash, you know Marth and Roy, you know Ike, and then I was like, okay, cool, I'll give this a shot. I've seen these characters in my favorite fighting game, so I'll spoiler alert. And then I was like, okay, cool, I'll give this a shot, and I absolutely loved it. The demo was so good, like, and then like playing it in like 3D mode on the 3DS, like the first few stages, I was like, I'm going out to the shops right now to buy this game. Like, this is so enjoyable.
was obsessed with that game. Oh my god.
Exactly, like hands down, I think like when people look at Fire Emblem, and look back at Awakening, it is the game that saved the franchise.
Oh yeah, it did.
And I don't know where it came from. It feels like the game just came out of nowhere, but it absolutely smashed it. And I've me, like with these Fire Emblem games, I've put so many hours into it, and no more have I put the hours in than Awakening.
Oh my god.
It's just
yeah.
I think
You've probably played Awakening as much as I've played Three Houses.
Yeah, for sure. You've put like hundreds of hours in Three Houses.
I checked the other day. I've played it for approximately 200 something hours.
That's it. Like, okay, look, the thing is with Three Houses is that like 200 hours, considering you've completed all the paths as well.
Yep.
Like that's quite a fair. That's fair. Like, okay, cool, you've done all that. I completed Awakening in probably, I'd say, like 20 hours at the main story. And if you know Awakening, there's not that much else to do on it once you complete the story. You can play the DLC, you can like go to the Outrealms or whatever, but there's not much else other than that. But somehow, on maybe 2 save files, I've done 300 hours on Awakening. And I've just like this is me. Like, I think what I ended up doing on Awakening was I completed the story mode, and then I just wanted to like make my characters the best they could be. So I started just grinding like all of my characters for no reason whatsoever, just because I enjoyed the gameplay of it so much.
Oh, don't remind me. I, I still got PTSD from that. I remember the first time I was like, "Oh, you got Fire Emblem too, yeah? Oh, we should play against each other." Like, I came over to your house. I remember you beat me the one time. You're like, "We can go again." I'm like, "I'm not doing that. No, thank you." I was like,
I've got weaker characters. You're like, nope, nope.
I remember being really proud. I was like, "Oh, I've got like characters at like 100, and you had characters almost at like 200." I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, pain and suffering."
But like, yeah, Awakening was like phenomenal though. I absolutely love that game. And then like from there, I was just like, well, I need more Fire Emblem games now. I played this one. I need to play more of them. And I think that's where I realized that like I enjoy Fire Emblem as a casual fan more than like when the like an OG hardcore one, because I've played the older games as well, like a fair few of them, and like. I probably can't get into the permadeath thing as much as most people. Like I know classic Fire Emblem fans like there's no other way to play Fire Emblem.
I don't.
But for me, like just jumping into the casual mode is like what I know and it's what I loved about Awakening.
I don't know how people do it though. You know, like permadeath, because like Awakening, for example, you get really attached to the characters, especially because you can pair them up and they can have kids. So I don't know how you do it, right? Where you care, you learn to care, you learn all these characters and their quirks, and then you go, yeah, when he dies in a fight, when they die in a fight, they're just dead. That's it. Like I don't know how you do that. I guess that's why I've never done a nuzzle,
man. It's like he's dead. He's never coming back, and like you've like grinded him. You like
exactly.
Like you got all this like stats on him.
I think like that's probably why I've never done a Nuzlocke. Like. For the same reason, like you learn to care for these things. I guess that's the point of a Nuzlocke, to show how like cruel things like that are. But I just can't do it.
Yeah, I think for me as well, I'm one of those guys that when I play a game, I'm like a collector in it. Like if I'm missing one thing, I'm like, that sucks. Why is that? Why is this not a thing? I want to collect everything in it. And like for me, like having a roster of characters. And I'm like, oh yeah, this one, he's not here anymore because he's dead and I couldn't be able to carry on. I'd be fuming. I can't do that. I can't have a complete roster of characters and one dead guy.
Aww.
It's but yeah, I love Awakening. I've started playing Path of Radiance on the GameCube recently.
Which one's that?
Well, that's a really good story in that one. I'd recommend it, even though it's permadeath. And every time one of my characters dies, I have to restart the level.
Oh, that's long.
It's like it gives that extra layer of strategy with it. Like, okay, cool. I know, like, if one of my characters dies, I'm like, okay, cool. I know where to put him now. I know I can just rewind it. But yeah, you're right. It's like, long. Restarting
it's not even like free houses where you can actually just rewind it. It's restarting the whole fucking thing.
Like modern Fire Emblem games do have that rewind feature. Again, I hear classic Fire Emblem fans being like, don't use rewind, it's a scrub move. But it's like,
well, I can't help what I am. Okay,
exactly. I feel it, Nate. I feel that. But no, Path of Radiance, like I haven't completed it yet, but it's a really good game. I'd recommend it if anyone ever tries to pick it up, despite the price tag of it. But then like you haven't played Fates, have you?
No.
Like that's the thing. Fates gets a lot of hate, really, just because like some people don't think the story is as good, and then like obviously it's split into 3 games as well, so you don't really get the true ending unless you've completed like Revelations, which is DLC on top of that. So I think it's a lot. Like, as a gamer, you do kind of feel cheated. Like, okay, cool, I have to go through all these hoops just to get a true ending of a game. But I actually really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed Fates. It's like I think I completed what was it? Conquest and Birthright ages ago, and I did start Revelations, and then I've got halfway through Revelations and I just put it down just because I've been playing the game for so long. not 300 hours long, mind you. So it's very hypocritical. But
also, since then, you've also picked up 2 other Fire Emblem games.
I have, yes, also. And for a fact, I didn't play it for ages, and I actually completed Revelations last year.
Okay.
No, was it last? Yeah, it was last year. It was in 2020.
Must have been, because no one else had anything to do.
Yeah, exactly. So I did that, and no, I rate it. I really rate it as a title. It's good. I can understand why people can't get behind it. It's a story thing as well. Some people can't get behind the story, but no, I really enjoyed Fates. That's a good one, and Three Houses as well. I think I'm glad how well it's done for a Fire Emblem game. It's it's the best selling one so far.
Yeah.
And I can totally get behind it. It is a brilliant game. I loved it. I haven't completed all the paths yet, but because I'm in the middle of Blue Lions at the moment.
Yes.
Yeah, and I've heard that I've heard it's bleak, but then again, by the looks of all these different paths, it's a bleak ending whatever you choose. So
yeah,
but yeah, Fire Emblem is just one of those games that I've just grown to love over the last decade, and I like my strategy RPGs anyway, and Heroes is good as well. I don't know if did you play Heroes at the start?
I played it for a little bit. I just don't like those kind of mobile games that are like really involved.
I get that, because I think there probably is like an auto function on there.
I mean, there probably is now, but I just...
Yeah.
A game like Fire Emblem is not something you should be playing with auto, though. You know?
100%.
Because that's an easy way to get your characters killed. It's just an easy way to lose.
Yeah, 100% I agree with you. But yeah, Heroes is good as well. I quite enjoyed Heroes. I pick it up every now and then. I don't think I'm like addicted to it as much as I am with other freemium games.
I think I just like it for the character designs, like how they translated, like, you know, the proper designs to like these little chibi things.
Yes, for sure, and even the like artwork on some of the characters as well. It's absolutely fantastic. Some of the drawings there, and then you've got your typical like gacha, like you can get what was it, summertime Frederick or something, where it's literally just Frederick in a pair of swimming trunks riding a horse.
I still get emails from Nintendo like, oh, look at this, and I'm like, I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah, it's one of those ones, and I think I just love the franchise in general. That's one of the ones that I
mean, I would ask you, what's your favorite, but I mean, I
100%
feel like it's
Awakening,
pretty obvious.
Yeah, I can't say no to Awakening, man.
It didn't seem like something that needs to be asked. It's quite clear which one.
Oh man, I think like one day I'll probably actually go back to Awakening and restart the story mode again.
Oh man,
but
300 hours seems like more than enough. Don't push it further than that, I feel like.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing about Fire Emblem as well is just like everyone gets salty about the Smash Bros characters in it. Like, it's more Smash Bros fans getting angry that there's Fire Emblem characters in that game.
It's just because there's a lot of them, and
there's not enough.
There's not enough. And there often isn't enough difference. But I will leave it at that. That's a whole nother discussion. Let's just not. Let's just not do this.
Yeah, let's
not do that.
But no, number 2 on my list, definitely.
Okay, so here we go. The penultimate, the ultimate, the number 1. What is your number 1 game franchise of all time?
It's funny you should say ultimate, because I don't think anyone saw this coming from what I mentioned in Fire Emblem.
You know what? I forgot you. I don't know why I didn't think this was going to be there, and I forgot you even mentioned spoiler alerts way before. I didn't even plan that. That was right for anyone who might listen, who found this for whatever reason. I genuinely did not set that up. That was pure accident, and I hate myself for it. I hate it worked out that well. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, Nathan. You've set me up now, and of course, my number 1 game is Super Smash Bros. It is just.
I am not surprised.
It is the ultimate, man. It's like we look at the game right now. At this time of recording, it's like Sephiroth is in the game. You've got like
Oh, what you
Steve.
mean the Sephiroth game?
The Sephiroth game.
Why you play anyone else? Just Sephiroth, right?
Yeah, everyone's just like Sephiroth now. Longsword, that's all you need. That's the reach. That's it.
Man.
But like, if you look at the game now from where it came from on Nintendo 64 days, it's like it's massive, man. This is like such a great tribute to gaming in itself. It's like you've got so many franchises in there. You've got like Solid Snake fighting Kirby. You've got Steve from Minecraft, like Minecraft fighting Link.
Hell, what happened to you there?
This is the hype. This is the hype of Ultimate. That's what happened.
Wow.
It like changes your voice. But like, there's so many different combinations on it. There's Pokemon, there's Zelda, there's like Fire Emblem. Like, there's so many like cool combinations, and it's an easy to pick up game. Like just playing it, you know the buttons of it. It gets a bit hectic at times depending on how you're playing it. But like for casual players, competitive players, like there's something there for like almost everyone. And like almost everyone. I'm not gonna say everyone. But I cannot put into words how much I love this franchise.
I don't think you ever would. I don't think we ever have enough time in the world for you to describe your love, your ever-dying love for Smash Bros. I actually don't know anyone who loves it more than you.
Oh, like it's my favorite game, and like it's one of those games I could just pick up and just play against computers. I'm not gonna like, I do play online occasionally, but like I don't think I'm as good to play as online. I'm not competitive player. I'm like a mix. I'd say I'm halfway between competitive and casual.
Fair.
I'm not that good online, but like I can just jump on it. I'd play against computers for like about 5-10 minutes, and then I'll just switch the game off again. Like it's one of those ones I just pick up whenever, and like it's just all the tracks that are in it, the stages. Like, I mean, I don't think you can find a better crossover game in history at this point. There's so many different things.
I think Jump Force is good.
I'm so close to putting the Jump Games franchise on here, but I realise they're not really a franchise. It's just Jump with like different things. Like that's a conversation for another day as well.
I feel like I've along with myself, I've made so many people really mad just then.
Yeah.
Especially because I never actually properly played Jump Force.
God. Is there?
It exists. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, I think it's probably best. But yeah, what else? Like, every game has brought something different as well with it. Like, it's your standard like Smash Bros game. You jump like 4 people on the stage fighting against each other. Like, nothing's changed there. But like, when you look at Melee, Brawl, Smash 4, and Ultimate, they all have like something different in them.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, you gotta admire that. Like it's one of those franchises that each game has their own personality, and you're like, okay, cool. Like you can see everyone has their preference to that as well. Like, no, like I don't think anyone can be like, oh, this Smash Bros game is the best one ever, because if you're competitive, you just go to Melee. No buts about it.
Well, you're not allowed to do that anymore.
No. Yeah, that's not online anyway. You have to go to tournaments.
Well, you're not allowed to do that either.
No.
Not because of COVID. Well, not just because of COVID.
Oh man. One day when this is all over, there'll be tournaments back. We hope so anyway, that the tournament scene hasn't died for Smash.
Well, it depends on how Nintendo feels.
We'll see. Yeah. We'll see how the community ends up after that. But what else is there to say about it? Like
I don't know, mate. Yeah. It's your undying love for Smash Bros.
Don't ask me what I'm speechless. That's how much it is. Like, I think my first game that I owned was Melee for it on the GameCube. I think that's like one of the reasons why I love the GameCube as well. Just like it has this one game, and Okay, here's something that not many people know, which I kind of like have. I think I've only told a couple people this, but I didn't actually know who Mario was before I played Smash Bros. Like,
Well, that's the end of this episode, and the series is as a whole.
It's like I don't know how it happened, but I just didn't know who Mario was. I bought Smash Bros. Because
I knew you.
Yeah.
Wow.
I bought Melee because Pikachu was in it, and I was like, oh, there's Pokemon in this fighting game. It looks quite cool. And then then obviously I got to know Mario as well, like all these different things, Mario, Luigi, like Dr. Mario was just what the hell to me. It was just literally like Mario in a doctor's outfit, and
that has to be one of the hottest takes about gaming I have ever heard. I'm not even mad. I'm just speechless for one, mystified that how.
I don't know. I don't like, especially
God,
like this is the GameCube as well. So like Mario's been around for like, decades before this.
Probably one of the first games I ever played was Mario.
Yeah,
and you blow my mind.
I don't know how it like happened. Like, sure, like maybe I'm like misremembering or something, but I feel like my first experience with Mario was just like playing Melee. I literally can't recall a moment where I was like, oh, I want to play this Mario game beforehand, because either I showed no interest in it, or like I just didn't know who he was, and I feel like it's going to be the latter. I don't think it was anything.
Have genuinely given me a headache with trying to think how this was possible. I mean, my head genuinely hurts. I have a 100% headache from trying to figure this out. Fucking what the hell? How does that happen?
I don't know, man. I don't know how it happened. Like, especially when you look at like me now, I'm like one of the biggest Nintendo fans.
I know, but oh my god, you didn't. That's so long. I have distinct memories of playing like the Game Boy Mario a lot when I was a kid. I have distinct memories of watching cousins play like on Super Nintendo. I think it was Super Mario World.
Yeah.
But like I don't know how you.
I'm like, even when I look back at like, because I had the Game Boy Color as well, and I had like the original Game Boy.
You knew Nintendo, and you didn't know their mascot.
Yeah, their mascot. I'm
dumbfounded. I genuinely am. I don't. How does such a thing happen?
It's like I don't know how it happened. Like, I think it's because like back then I was like really into cartoons more than anything, and like the Pokemon. I'm trying to remember how I got into Pokemon. To be fair, I feel like I got into Pokemon
probably the anime,
partly through the show, and then partly through like the merchandise. Weirdly, I think I had the game. I definitely had the games around all the same time. I didn't like choose like I didn't find it through an exact certain thing, because Pokemon was in everyone's face as well. Yeah. There's no way you could get away from Pokemon back in the 90s.
I remember it used to be in the Warner Brothers store, like, and it was big.
Yeah, that was one of the things as well. The Warner Brothers store selling the toys there, like that was huge. Pokemon's the reason I bought Smash Bros. And then there's all these different characters that I have no clue about really. Like obviously I don't know Mario. Imagine like who the fuck are ice climbers? I'm looking at like who's like who's Ness?
Look, right, when you say
who's Marth and Roy, like literally if I don't know Mario, I don't know half these people.
Right, some of these characters are more obscure. I get those. Yeah. Right, we didn't have Fire Emblem back then. We didn't have. Well, we probably did, but it was before our time. If it did, right, for Ness and Earthbound.
Yeah,
those I understand. Ice Climbers was before our time. That I understand. But don't put Mario in the same category as them just because you didn't know. Like,
And that's what I'm like saying that like
Don't blatantly lie to
don't
my
know how-
face, Pepe, whilst you're slapping me, okay? Like, don't attack me personally and then pretend nothing happened. Jesus.
I mean,
What the hell? Are you putting Mario in this? You are making some hot takes right now, and I do not appreciate them.
I think it's just like I don't know. I just don't think I grew up with the whole Nintendo culture. I was more into my cartoons and stuff when I was a kid, and I don't think, like, from my knowledge anyway, I don't think Mario was advertised on TV that much.
Not back in the 90s.
No, and
But then your parents,
yeah.
did your parents play on a Game Boy or something?
Well, that's the thing. As I said, I had a Game Boy, but we only had like very basic games for it. Like we had like this one called like Crash Test Dummies. It was a good game, to be fair. It was quite a fun one. Like Frogger, those sort of ones.
Our gaming history is so different.
Yeah. I mean, like, and then like we got the PS1 as well, so I had like Rayman on that. I had what was it? Simpsons Wrestling as well. That was a good one. But I never really had many. Obviously, I wouldn't have any Nintendo games on those. I had barely had any knowledge of Nintendo 64 at that time.
In an alternate version of this universe, you would have.
I mean,
if Sony and Nintendo worked together.
God, yeah, imagine this Sony PlayStation. Sony PlayStation? That's out.
PlayStation.
Nintendo PlayStation. No, but that, as I said though, like Smash Bros. Is where I learned about all the gaming icons there, and then like obviously then you go to Brawl, and then I knew about Sonic before it was in Brawl. By the way, this is one thing I'm going to make clear. But like by the time Brawl came out, I knew a lot more about games than I did when I
should
got
hope
Melee.
so. I should hope so.
It's like I think there's like obviously like since Melee I've like even just getting the trophies in Melee like that helped me so much like get into gaming in general, because I'll like you get all these trophies, what is it, hundreds and hundreds of trophies in Melee, and you look at like as a kid I'd be like I want to collect them all obviously because I'm a collector, and like just reading like about all these trophies, like what games they're from, like all these random ones like Doshin the Giant as well, like Eggplant Man from Mario Bros. I remember he was like one of my favorite trophies. It was weird. I had a weird choice of trophy preferences, but there's so many like random bits that I absolutely loved in Smash Bros. Melee.
I can't believe you.
I feel like anything that I say now is irredeemable for the Mario fact that I just
Look,
dropped.
I am listening.
I don't think I can
I
say
just
anything.
I just can't get over it. I just can't. I don't think I've ever met anyone like you.
Me and Nathan were like, hey, let's start this YouTube channel where we're going to talk about gaming and stuff. And I just dropped this in the first episode. I didn't know who Mario was by the time Melee came out.
You almost ended our friendship just then.
I have no excuses. That's all I can say, man. I just didn't know who he was.
You decided to tell me your deepest, darkest secret, and now I can't see you in the same light anymore.
This is the first
and last Cultured Boys
video on this channel. I mean, yeah, there's Green Mario as well. That's the thing. I knew who Luigi was by the time that I
learned who Mario was.
Nah, I didn't know who Luigi was. That's a lie. I didn't know who anyone was, man. I just played this game. On a similar wavelength though, I also got Mario Party the same time as I got Smash Bros. Melee. And I did enjoy Mario Party. That was really fun. I enjoyed Mario Party.
Yeah, the sad thing is you're like, oh, these are the guys from Smash Bros.
I mean, you're not far wrong. You know, like everyone's like that with the Fire Emblem characters. Like, oh yeah, this is the guys in Smash Bros. I was like that as a kid with Mario. No, I'm like
you were like that with one of the most iconic gaming characters, game characters to ever exist. You are just something else.
But yes, anyway, in a small recap of like my love for Smash Bros, it's just like since Melee, it's just grown so much. Like with Brawl having Subspace Emissary and like Smash 4, the hype behind that when they announced it at E3 was just ridiculous. And then it carried on with Ultimate as well. Like all the predictions, I got super into like guessing what characters are going to be in the next games and stuff.
Believe me, I know.
Yeah, Nathan's been like listening to me for years, saying, "Oh, who do you think is going to be in?" And Nathan's like, "Don't care." It's almost like the game, like Nathan, like you're a fan of Smash Bros. Anyway.
I am.
I don't think you'd say
But
you hate it.
It's just I hate the conversation because it would come up all the time, every few months or whatever. Like, oh, Smash announcement, and that's all it ever was, and it was always the same predictions, and it was the same conversation. Like I could copy and paste them and put them together. Right, and it would basically be the same transcript, the same people saying the same things, and it was just like, I'm done, I'm tired of it. Make new predictions or just don't. Like, just shut the fuck up. I don't care anymore. Like, just wait. Okay, I'm done. I don't care. God. And I'm still like that. It hasn't happened for a while, but I still don't care. I don't want to hear it.
But Nathan, once you get into the lore of Smash speculation, you look into like, oh, this company like may or may not have these chances reduced or heightened because the last announcement is like people like, oh yeah, Sora's gonna be in Smash. He clearly wasn't. I don't think he will be. If he is now in like the next 3 character things, I'll eat a hat. Not my hat. I'll eat a hat. But
well, we're gonna have to find some dingy hat off the street.
I'll find some hat. Believe me, I'll send me a hat in the post and I'll eat it.
I bet pay some this guy for his hat.
Since Sephiroth has come out, like there's chances of like Sora, Gino, like they've dipped, and then that's for me like what keeps me into the Smash speculation, dude. That everything can change and all that sort of thing. But I can understand though. I do completely get your point. That like it's just speculation. You don't know what's gonna happen until it's released. So is there much point talking about it?
Look, again, it's just mainly that it's the same conversation.
Yeah.
Someone always ends up saying Crash Bandicoot. I'll probably always, as a joke, be like Master Chief or Marcus Phoenix just because it's funny. And then XYZ, this character, that character. It's always the same guesses.
One day Phoenix Wright will be in Smash. That's my top pick. But this is not a Smash speculation video.
And I don't think,
as much as I could easily change it into one.
I don't think I want it to ever be. That might be a solo episode where I decide I'm not there for recording that week. I disappeared. I couldn't make it. Surprisingly. Oh my god, I couldn't make it. Whoops.
But yeah, that pretty much summarizes my love for Smash. It's like, so like everything's in there, everyone is here. It's just like,
don't ask me for anything.
Don't ask for, like, praise to Sakurai. Sakurai is like a legend, like, for doing all this. He's tired, man. Give the man a rest. But like,
you say that, and there's still 3 more characters.
And there's still 3 more characters. Like, he's done so much, man. I mean, like Nintendo, the ones that are like, yeah, keep pushing DLC. We need more money. But like Sakurai's just like, yeah, go on then. Have your Steve. Have your Sephiroths. But no, that's my number 1 pick for game franchise. It's Smash.
Not surprised at all.
So Nathan, what's your number 1 then?
Well, much like yourself. Mentioned it before, spoiler alert, Persona. I absolutely love Persona. But like I said before when I was talking about Yakuza, nowadays I feel like I could interchange. Those 2 are definitely like top tier for me. They would definitely be in like the 1 and 2 slot, but sometimes they change. Depends on what I've played most recently, I guess. But ever since buying Persona 4 Golden on the PS Vita, I have not once stopped looking at more Persona stuff and being enticed. Like, I genuinely fell in love with Persona 4 Golden. I think I finished it about 12 times. And that's just Persona 4 Golden, right? I finished Persona 5, I think 1 3/4 times. I've almost finished it a second time. But then Christmas came along, and someone got me Persona 5 Royal for Christmas, so working on that. I pre-ordered Persona 5 Strikers yesterday. That's coming.
I need to get on that. That's a good point. I need to get that.
I've already pre-ordered it. Did that yesterday.
Yeah.
There's footage been coming out for it as well. Don't need to watch it. I know I'm just gonna enjoy playing it anyway.
Yeah.
But I've also finished probably the worst version of Persona 3. I finished that 2 or 3 times. It was the portable version where basically everything was a flat image. It was basically a point and click.
It was what console was that on? The PSP?
Yeah, PSP. It was the worst version I could have completed. But I bought it because it was cheap. I think it was like £5 one time.
Yeah.
So I bought it, downloaded it, finished it. But yeah, that's not a great version. But I love the characters from it. That's the thing with Persona, is because the game mostly is you learning about your surroundings and hanging out with people and making connections with these people, like you end up just loving characters.
I mean, it's huge on the character development with those things. Like the stories in the Persona games are just so,
and they touch on things that like you normally wouldn't think they would. You know, like in Persona 4, like there's like characters like Kanji who are like struggling with essentially like home life and toxic masculinity way before, and like sexuality, and then you've got like characters like Rise who are like struggling with fame at a young age and identity, you know, like, and then you've got like Persona 5, for example, like you've got things like Ann being like essentially molested. There's things like it touches on things that you wouldn't expect, and it puts everything in a light, and you almost learn empathy. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's weird to say, like, you as humans we should know these things, but it's not always obvious. And like you almost learn to be a better person if you really pay attention to some of these stories.
For sure, yeah. Like, I think I've only really completed Persona 4, and like, so I can only speak partly on some of these bits. But like, I agree with you. Like, the story in that game is like so good. I've only completed it once, but like, there's so many like different topics it touches on, and like the gameplay is fantastic as well. I absolutely love I love turn-based like RPGs in general.
Like, they're great as well. Like turn-based RPGs, dungeon crawlers, but it really is the characters and the interactions between characters that really make it. I know a lot of people probably don't care so much for the like in between parts of dungeons and whatever, you know, when you're hanging out with people, but like honestly that's the best part. Like the amount of times you and I have spoken about Persona 4 Golden, and I don't think I know a single person who played Persona 4 or Golden and doesn't come out loving Nanako. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's true. Yeah.
That's a little, like a virtual little girl that everyone comes out going, Nanako's my cousin and I will kill for her. Do you know what I mean? Like, anytime it's like, oh, she's in trouble. There was no point in that game, if anything, that someone hinted like Nanako's in trouble that I didn't go, I need to save her.
Yeah.
I will go to the ends of the earth for this virtual little girl.
It's so good, like the whole journey you go on with that game, because like obviously you start off just going into the town like not knowing anyone.
You're in this remote town and you're staying at your estranged uncle's house that you've like not seen for ages, and there's this little girl that is your cousin and you've never met her before, and all this shit goes down. You make all these friends that have their own issues, but it all ties to them becoming stronger people, and you just care about everything.
Like it's so well done how like the bonds you make with your friends in that game also affect in the actual gameplay itself.
Exactly.
And it's
because
just
you get
like,
new skills.
So many layers to it.
Yeah, like
it's so good.
They get new abilities if you max out your rankings with these connections. Like your main party, their personas evolve. Like there's benefits to hanging out with other people in the game, like to do that real life stuff. But it seriously is just a game franchise hasn't made me think about other people's struggles and like I mean the overall arcing thing is, I guess, like, again, as humans we should probably already be able to just empathize, and it's probably something we should do more often, but like you know, it's just something you probably don't actively do. And personas like the only game franchise that's ever made me take a look at myself and been like, I could be better. Like it really hit home, like this franchise. And there's always something every time I play one that makes me think. Plus, you know, there's the other thing, it's pretty much also kind of like a waifu simulator. Like,
I mean, to be fair, like I've played like 300 hours of Fire Emblem Awakening. Like it's the like basically waifu simulator plus some like strategic strategic RPG in it.
But
and
yeah,
like yeah, Persona's the same with that, and it is great though. I think it adds a layer to the game. Like you've got like the brilliant storytelling there, and you've got like the whole like gaining bonds, like making all these friendships and that, and like relationships, and it's just fun. That's the thing about it. It's a fun story. It is.
I don't know any other game that makes you sort of be like want to live real life in a game.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like you typically are a school student, so you're like, you have to go to school, you have to answer questions, you have to take tests. But then it's like, I don't know any other game where I'm so willing to live the old life. I hated school. But I'll play Persona and be like, yeah, I've got to go to school so I can so I could raise my rank with my mate over there.
Yeah. Oh, that's a whole different thing. I get to use team attacks if I know him enough.
Oh, if I go to school and answer the question right, my knowledge goes up, and then I can talk to that girl over there. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what it is, but that game is something special. Those games make you think and realize there's some dark shit that people don't talk about. It just makes you care. It just makes you care, man.
Like you do realize as well that like it speaks to a lot. Like when the whole stuff with the shadows it's so well done when you look at it. Like because it kind of just shows that there's stuff that people are burying inside themselves, stuff they want to hide. And it's like kind of like, not to get too like philosophical with it or whatever, but it just shows like society in itself, what it's like. And like people have like always have the like they have that outer shell where they want to impress someone or whatever, or they want to have this perfect image of themselves.
That's the concept of the personas themselves, isn't it? It's you often breaking away from that mask you've been wearing, that persona that you've been portraying to the outside world. And that's how these main characters gain their abilities, is that they've taken away the facade and realized their true self.
Yeah. It's so well done, man. I need to complete some more games of it. Like I've only, as I said to you, I've only done 4 and a bit of 5. Like you said, like in terms of 3, I know you said that you done the worst version of it, like the point and click stuff. Like have you ever tried doing 1 or 2 or anything like that as well? Because I have very little knowledge of them.
I haven't, but through research, I think people like us who got in real late to these like more modern ones, I think it's a bit harder to go back because there's a lot of quality of life stuff again.
For sure.
But apparently the story's just as good. But I think Persona 2's got like 2 or 3 different versions or something.
Yeah.
Because I think the main one you follow one character, and then the second one is either one of those kind of like happens at the same time, but it's following someone else, or it's like right after or something like that. So I know Persona 2 has a couple of versions, but yeah, I don't know what else to say. Persona is just one of those, like, get over the visual novel and just play it.
Yeah.
They are incredibly rewarding in the end.
I think that's like one thing I can imagine, like, to the average gamer, like like looking at the story for these games, and you think, oh yeah, it's probably gonna take like around. I'm right in saying there's probably about 80 hours to complete a like standard Persona game, right? Like
I
just
think it
finish the
depends
story
on
of
the
it. Like
one.
that's bare bones.
I think it depends on the one. Like Persona 4 Golden, if you don't go for the, what's it, the true ending, I think you could probably finish in about 40.
Yeah. Okay.
I might have.
I just really spent a lot of time grinding by the sounds of it.
I think even at the low end, without some grinding, I think you
Yeah.
could probably finish it in maybe like, closer to 30 hours. No true
Yeah.
ending on Persona 4 Golden.
Yeah. Okay. I just clear. I don't know how I managed it, but I must have. Like, I did like 80 hours in Persona 4 Golden, like get into the true ending. But I feel like it was grinding and just.
It
like,
probably was
doing
grinding,
stuff,
to be
like,
honest.
replaying dungeons.
Most likely was.
But yeah, must have been. Or I just left the game on like randomly and just like.
Do you
kept
know
it
what?
running. I don't think I would have done.
I think that's why nowadays I can't use my game times as reliably because I have been doing that.
Yeah.
I used to make it a point to not leave the game on because I wanted to know how long I've been playing. But like that's why like when I was talking about Fire Emblem Three Houses, I said around 200-ish hours because I think about there's probably a good 10 hours where I just sort of left my TV and game on.
Yeah.
It's the same with like Persona 5 or 5 Royal. Like there's a lot of times where I just sort of left the game on. So there's probably a good 10 hours plus where I'm like, I wasn't doing anything.
Yeah. It's a give or take.
Yeah, you know.
But no, I completely agree. I think like that #1 spot is deserved for that franchise. Like there's
For sure. Like I don't know many other games or media in general. At least this is me personally. I do typically play more games than anything else. Like any other media form, I don't intake as much as games. But rarely have I seen some sort of media franchise that has characters written that well. And
Sure.
I'm not a writer, but you know, I've played a lot of games. I've watched a lot of films and TV and stuff, and like, it can be quite hard to find like something like that where you generally do care about almost everyone.
For sure, yeah. I think that's the thing. There's so many different characters in those games as well. Like the games, like they have like their own personalities and stuff as well. Like all their personalities aren't. There's not any two characters you think, oh, they're pretty much alike. Really, there's nothing like separating them. Like they're all so unique in that. Like
Exactly. And like, if you don't care for a person in like a character, it's probably because they're well written to perfectly annoy you. Like in Persona 4 Golden, there's that, you know, that weird kid, the gamer kid, the Okubo.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
Incredibly dislikable. Hate that guy. But he's also written that way. He's written exactly like that. And like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you hate someone, it's probably because they're written to be hated, and it's really good.
Well, that's the thing. Like that's an example of just like perfect like villain writing, or like just like if you just look at any character. The character of Adachi, to me, I absolutely love Adachi in #4. Like I think he's like he's like one of those like characters. Like he's like he's there.
That was also really, really well written. I don't want to do spoilers or anything. The game's been out for a while, so I feel like we could get away with it. But like, you know, like.
But yeah, I won't say too much about it. Like if anyone did want to jump into it, but like, man, I just love Adachi. He's like one of those characters. I'm just like, he's so chill, and then suddenly it's like that bang.
But I mean, like, yeah, I could, again, it's one of those. I could probably talk about Persona for quite a while, but after a while, you tend to end up getting into spoiler territory because Persona then gets very specific to characters and storylines, and it gets hard to talk about unless you have people who have also finished it like you.
Yeah.
Like I can't talk Persona 5 because you haven't finished it, so there's
I need to get it. I'm halfway through it. I'm almost there.
I think I
just haven't picked it up
you.
in a year.
The thing is, I think I passed you on Persona 5 Royal.
Yeah. Oh, you probably have.
And my second playthrough of Persona 5, I definitely passed you. I think I passed you on 2 separate Persona 5s.
But like, I think I have this thing though with the Persona games, where I'll get to a certain point in them, and I'll just like, it's nothing against the gameplay. Whatever, the gameplay and the like story is fantastic, but like I think I get to a certain point, I'm like, okay, cool, I'll put it down, and I'll play something else because I've been playing so much of it. But and then I'll pick it up like a year later and then finish it. That's the thing with it. Like that's what I did with Persona 4. I gave it the like biggest break, and I jumped into it and loved it.
I feel like that's like the worst way to do it though, because like, you know, like it's all the interconnected stories and things, and like if you leave it that long, you forget things. And it's probably not great.
Yeah,
to
for
do
sure.
Like
Like there are certain bits I like guarantee there's some bits in Persona 5 I probably would have forgotten. But like I just like jump into it. And I've told you this before, but like I personally find that playing a turn-based RPG where you will occasionally have to grind quite a bit, like I find it playing on a console for me is like, it's really hard because obviously you're just dedicating all your time to grinding and watching this massive like thing on your TV. And then like for a handheld though, which I played Persona 4 Golden on, like I just absolutely like I could put something on in the background, I could just play this game and like I'll just grind, and then when it gets to major story points, I'll pause the TV and I'll start like paying full attention to this bit. I think that's the only thing holding me back from Persona 5, and it's such a silly reason. But like I mean, for me, turn-based RPGs are just best on a handheld for me.
Personal preference is personal preference, isn't it? Also, people nowadays gotta know they lucky, right? Because we only had Persona 4 Golden on PS Vita back then. Now it's on PC, and I'm like, you've got no excuse for not playing it now. Like you can't even say, oh, I didn't have that console. It's on PC now.
Yeah,
I can't imagine it's that demanding. Buy it.
I remember having the PS Vita, and I think I had like one game for it, and it was Blazblue. And like, because you know what the PS Vita was like as well, it had the tiniest memory cards.
Oh god!
And I was like, I can't use this console. Like, I've only got like one game that can fit on it. I got a bigger memory card, and then I'm like, what other games can I get on this thing? And then someone just told me, I think it probably was you. It was like, just get Persona on it.
Because I think I was playing it at the time. Because I watched a bunch of YouTube videos and reviews, because I was looking for something to play on my Vita as well. And I kept seeing this thing, like people kept talking about this Persona thing, and I was like, but what is it? Like, is it any good? And then I went and watched a bunch of reviews and stuff, and I was like, okay, I'll give that a go. I'll buy that. Lo and behold, it's now my favourite franchise of all time.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? It's just like it's interesting how people just find games in general though, like just even if it's word of mouth or like reviews or like even just like seeing a shop and be like, oh yeah, that sounds cool. Like it's cool, man. Like I'm glad that like I've been introduced to the Persona franchise. Like eventually I'm definitely getting Strikers. 100% I'll get that.
Oh dude.
And it's on Switch as well. So I can play it handheld, even though it's a Warriors game pretty much.
Oh, but it looks so cool. Like I've only seen like screen grabs and things. But it looks like it's ramping up to be really cool. Like the I think they've worked really hard, the Dynasty Warriors guys, to Koei Tecmo to like revamp their engine, I guess. Because like Age of Calamity, which I haven't bought yet, it's got like you can do air attacks and stuff, like, and you can like float and stuff, and I think they've tried to do something similar, because I saw a screen grab of like Joker like doing that, you know, like a flip upside down like spin shot.
Yeah,
I saw a screen grab of that, and I'm like, that looks fucking cool. Or like I think I saw one of him doing that, but he was using like Agar or something, you know, like,
yeah.
And I'm like, I'm totally down for this. This looks really cool.
Like I remember seeing the trailer of it, and it looked fantastic. Did you like? I don't know if you have like a Japanese account on the Switch or anything. Did you ever download a demo of it?
I have a Japanese account. I don't think I did.
Yeah, I downloaded a demo of it, but like obviously with Persona, it's one of those games that is very dialogue heavy.
Yeah, I think that's why I didn't, because I was like, I can't understand Japanese.
Yeah, I think it was one of those ones. Like, I'm often like, when it comes to Japanese games. If I can mainly get the whole like idea of the game across, I can probably just play it. Like I've got like a few jump games that aren't available in the West, and I've just like played them, and I didn't understand the story at all.
I mean,
but it's just all about the gameplay, and
I would probably struggle less now because I can read a little bit of Japanese, but
yeah,
I'd probably still need a Google Translate or something. Type in the word, because even if I can read the word, I have no idea what it means.
Yeah. I think like with Persona though, you can't just pick up and play that sort of thing.
No,
without knowing you need to know what's going on in the story there. That's what's so impactful.
To the people who are like super into the franchise and like will import it even if they don't know Japanese, like my hat's off to them. Like honestly, I'm sure there are people like that are just like, I need it now, and they'll play it through and they'll end up learning what everything means, or at least what it does, because they're just like hitting buttons. But dude, that is dedication I don't have.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing as well. Soon enough we'll have strikers in our hands, and like hats off to the translation team as well for that, because they what was it? It's all voice acted in English as well, isn't it?
Is it? Oh, cool.
Yeah, I believe it is anyway. Like so, it's all all English V8 there, which is great. And yeah, I just literally can't wait to play that and eventually complete Persona 5 when I get back into it again.
Wow, the sad thing is going to be you're going to finish a spin-off game before you finish the main game.
Yeah, probably. There's probably going to be spoilers in it as well.
There probably will be.
I mean, I'm just going to have to jump into it because I've been looking forward to this game for a while. So,
what, we've been waiting like a year for this? 2 years?
I think so, yeah. I think it came out halfway through
last 2 years,
in
isn't it?
Japan.
We've been waiting 2 years because we saw it at E3 like a couple of years back.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, because I remember being like super hyped for it.
It was, yeah. I couldn't remember if it was like randomly dropped in a Nintendo Direct or whatever. That's another thing as well. Is it on Nintendo and PlayStation, or is it just Nintendo?
Switch and PS4, I believe.
Switch and PS4. Okay, yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
But I'm obviously getting the Switch version. I typically play all of my Warriors games on there nowadays.
Yeah, same here. I can't remember last time I bought a Warriors game on the PS4.
I don't think I ever have.
I remember I had what was the last one? I probably Pirate Warriors 3.
I had Pirate Warriors 3 on Steam.
Did you?
Yeah,
okay, fair
I had it on PC because it was cheap. It was in a Steam sale one time. I think I bought it for like 10 quid or something.
Yeah, I think like Fire Emblem Warriors, I got that on Switch because obviously it's a Switch exclusive.
Hyrule Warriors I played on 3DS. Probably not the best place.
God, yeah. Did you? What was that? The first one you had on the 3DS for Hyrule Warriors?
Yeah.
Wow, man. Okay. That is, yeah. It's like definitely not the best place to pick it up.
Well, that's because
I had it on the Wii U.
Yeah,
the Wii U one was good. I enjoyed it.
At the time, it was on Wii U, and like that was expensive.
It was, yeah. I think. No, I didn't get a special edition. I got the special edition of the 3DS one. Not the Wii U one. I wanted the scarf. The Wii U one came in for Link's scarf.
You just wanted the scarf.
But yeah, back to Persona. Like, it's gonna be good. I can understand why it's your number one, and yeah, that's great. I think we covered off quite a lot there, man.
We did, and I think that's it. We hope you enjoyed. Anyone who found this and listened to it, thanks for listening. If you did, and that's it for me.
Nice one. See you guys. Bye.